All right. Okay, guys. So this is nice Saturday morning, and the temperature is 20 degrees, and you should be going out and go to the beaches. Okay, what are we talking about? Let's continue the class now. So Jim and Paddle reminds us that we were supposed to join domain or domain join. Yes, exactly. Okay, so what we covered till now was I'm just going to go through some of that uh, we did before. So we created a on-premises, the domain controller, and then we connected it to Azure Active Directory, the cloud. We created 90 users here on premises in the domain controller in a Toronto local branch, which is just our local machine. And from there, we synchronize all the users to Azure Active Directory. And then we purchased our domain in GoDaddy.com. We attached or mapped that domain to the Azure Active Directory tenant, and we attached that domain to all the users which were synchronized from local branch to Azure Active Directory. We attached that domain. After that, we started the feature exploration of Azure Active Directory, which is a pretty long list of features. Uh, so uh, that's what we were doing. But also, we wanted to have a client machine.
Excuse
Remember
me,
that? Yeah, you were saying?
increase the size of the screen
Hmm?
and recording is started also.
Yes, recording started and size of screen. Um, show display settings. Duplicate slideshow. What do happen here? Screen sharing stop. Seriously, I put the duplicate slideshow and the screen sharing stop. Okay. I hope you're able to see the screen now, but it also changed my display settings as well. Okay, I'm just explaining this, so let me finish that and then I'll fix my screens. Okay, so what we were doing was, remember that we created a Toronto branch, local branch. So we just created one virtual machine inside our laptop, and we installed a Windows operating system, a server operating system there, a server 22 or 2019, and then we installed Active Directory, which offers authentication, authorization, counting, right? So then we created all the users. Now we have just a server operating system, and we now want to create a client operating system as well, and we need to join that client operating system to the server operating system. So the server operating system has a role called Active Directory, and Active Directory centrally manages the whole environment of Microsoft in the local branch. So just like we will be joining Windows 10, 11 to the domain controller, Active Directory here, to the domain actually, we're going to join. Domain means network, Microsoft network. So just like we will be joining to one machine, so in big environments where they have 10,000 users or 50,000, 80,000, 100,000 users, so those 100,000 users would have either Windows 10 or 11 desktops or laptops. So all of those could be joined the same way as that machine that we will be joining. Why are we joining this machine to the local? That's because this is what you're going to see in production environments. And this client operating system, either Windows 10 or 11, so it will have the client software of those applications which are in the cloud right now. So those applications in the cloud are Outlook, and so Microsoft Exchange, which handles email, and its client application is Outlook, and Microsoft Teams, which handles conferences and meetings. So its client application is Teams as well. So we need to put that into perspective as well, because you're going to see that you have to handle a lot of client-related issues. So we're going to set up the environment that way. So
Uh,
that's the first thing.
we don't see any the class recording sign. Yeah.
Hmm. So recording is in progress. I
Oh,
will also send it in writing to you. So you will believe me one day that believe me, it is recording.
okay.
So that's good. Right. So yeah.
So we
Um,
will join this client to the domain.
yes.
We created so I we made Windows 10 and Windows 11.
So any
That
of
the
those
last
doesn't
video.
matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you have 10 or 11. So students, we all tried to go for 11. I was not able to install Windows 11 in my uh, VMware workstation in laptop. So I installed Windows 10. So it doesn't matter. They're both pretty much the same.
You said that a Windows 11 is necessary to some kind of verification.
Yeah, so I will be showing all the verification. It's just we need to overall. I'm first explaining what we were doing and what we will be doing now.
Mm,
But yes, when we come down to the steps, then I will explain what to do. Right. So right
okay.
now we're just checking that what was happening till now in four classes and what will we will be doing now. So here, this branch has a domain local domain controller. You will be whenever whichever company you join, you will see if they have on-premises presence. So you will always see a domain controller there in majority of the cases. And then you have to know that how to control the local domain controller, which is just a Windows Server operating system with Active Directory, centrally manages, centrally offers security, centrally offers inventory, centrally offers management of the whole Microsoft network, right? So we're going to join this client machine to the domain. That's one thing. Then we're going to install clients on it. Whatever users you created here, 390 users we created with the PowerShell script, right? So those users, from any of those users, we can log in from here. There was one use case that we were talking about, and then we needed the client even more, was that um, we were talking about a feature called write back. What is a write back feature? So when we try to synchronize all the users here with Azure Active Directory Connect tool, so the direction of synchronization was always from on-premises to cloud, from on-premises to cloud. So if you want to make any changes in the user's profile, the password, or maybe you want to change the department of the user in Active Directory, you will have to come here, make the change, run the Active Directory AADC tool, Active Directory Connect, and it will simply synchronize. Otherwise, it is synchronizing every 30 minutes as well. So the direction of synchronization is always from on-premises to cloud. Suppose you change a password of a user here in cloud, which is also here. So user John is here and you synchronize it up here. So user John account is here as well, but you change the password here. Now you need to send back that password synchronization to user John's account living in this on-premises branch domain controller. So if you do that, then how do you test that what password you changed here for user John is actually changed here as well? So you could log in from a client machine, confirm that the user John's password, whichever password was put here, from that exact password, user John can log in from the client machine as well. So that was one use case, but there are so many other scenarios that how whatever we do on the application side, how does it affect the user side? So that's why we need a client as and well. So that was one explanation. I'm just gonna escape here because must okay, so it is extended screen. So yeah, this was just one explanation. And now I'll just put back the chat. I cannot see the chat now. So now what to do next? Let's talk about that. What we were doing till now, overall view, but where we were literally when we had the last class. So we were in our homes. That's first thing. And second thing, we were in Azure Active Directory. So we were supposed to log in. In fact, if you're not logged in, so go ahead and log into your Microsoft 365 account, the developer account that is, and then from developer account, just open this gray admin button, and you will see our headquarters here, Microsoft Admin Center. Just say admin center to this in the interview. Interview, do not say headquarters, or just say that it is like headquarters. So watching our WhatsApp windows. Oh, now you've seen all my transactions of billions of dollars, and that is not great. Thank you for letting me know. But I was just see that I hate that slide. So let me share. So let me just share and then share again. That is. Oh yeah, I was sharing the second one. So yeah, my affiliation to all the political parties is also now. Uh, if you're in an opposing party, then yeah, please don't. Mhm. And then, so yeah, here, yeah, okay. So thank you, Hugo, for letting me know that. And yeah, first, please make sure that you are logged in for Microsoft 365 developer account. Hopefully now you are seeing my correct screen here. And I'll put the chat the third time here now. Uh, and once you're logged in from here, so then I'll just take you to where we were last time. We can carry on from there. Also install, go to the on-premises side as well. So you are logged in from developer account. Then you click the gray admin button. It opened the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And here you see, it will be uh, like this. Then click show all here, and you will see all that. And but we need to go down to admin centers, and we were exploring the first application called Azure Active Directory, which is the most critical application. So I'm going to click Azure Active Directory, and it opens entra.microsoft.com, and we change entra.microsoft.com. There you go. And in Entra, we were exploring the Active Directory, where we talked about all users. And in all users, we went through then all the features of this bulk operations and MFA and new user, guest users, download users. Then there's that deleted users. So we were exploring all these options here. Uh, and one of the options in the deleted users was password reset here. If you reset the password of a synchronized user, then what you need to do. So that's where we were here in the cloud. And now I'll just, what's this name? And VMware, some of you, yeah. So yeah, we are also on vCloud right now in VMware. So it's less disruptive now because now discovery is done. Okay, so I'll just open that. So this is our branch, and what we are going to do now is, so this is our Toronto branch as we started our course and we were attending all this. So here we have our domain controller, what we need to create here now. So first, domain controller is there, so put on your virtual machines again. So we will always stick to the terminology. This is called domain controller. Anyone can quickly tell me which server? So there are two servers here, and what is a server? So there is Windows OS here, and there's Windows OS here as well. Uh, Both are um, Windows server, right? So they're server operating system. So why would the first one be considered our domain controller and the second one would be, suppose we have another one, we actually did not install that. So suppose there's another Windows, it is called member server. Why would the first one be called domain controller and the second one would be called member server? Anyone has an idea about that? Jamin says because it has ADDS role and we promote it to domain. There you go. There you go. So because we installed here this Active Directory. So the only difference between the two is installed here Active Directory, which is the role is actually called ADDS, which is Active Directory Domain Services. We install that, so Active Directory gets installed. So then it is called domain controller. Otherwise, it's just a normal standalone server. If it's not joined to the domain or member server if it is joined to the domain. The terminology is always critical. In the interview, if you talk with terminology, that will be your success there, and that's how you will be able to impress. Now, what we need to do is, okay, so I'll remove that because then it will be confusing. Hey, you're saying member server, so where is member server in our lab? So we don't have that. But just for terminology clearance or clarification, I was doing that. Now, what we are just going to concentrate on of us doing our job, which we were doing. So that is, we have a client operating system, Windows 10 or 11, right? And here, so this is already joined. This is already installed only. We need to join it to domain. What does that mean? We need to introduce it to domain controller, which is controlling the whole Microsoft network. And so Active Directory will know, oh, we have Windows 10 here. Okay, I'm good now. So whichever users you have created here, any users from any user, once it goes through the process of joining the domain, then any user that you created in Active Directory can securely log in from that machine to the Microsoft network and can enjoy all the network features if there were any network features or applications. Suppose you've installed here an application, so SQL Server, not SQL Server, file server. Yes. So suppose there's a file server. That file server gets authentication from domain controller. So that file server will let you share files only if your user was also authenticated from domain controller. So the whole file server gets authentication from domain controller, so it will only let any user connect the file server to share files if that user is also authenticated from Active Directory. The source of authentication and authorization only is Active Directory, right? That's what I wanted to show. That this Windows 10 or 11 has to be joined to domain. So any user who is authorized and authenticated from Active Directory can only log in from this domain, from this client machine afterwards. Oh, and K. So I'll just go ahead now and open my VMware workstation or VM Nowhere. So it's the VMware workstation. And in the VMware workstation, we have the two windows. Okay. Otherwise, Jamin is ready to share the screen, right? Okay. So okay, I think Jamin should be ready then. Uh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this VMware workstation and go ahead with first of all the slide, the diagram. So our next steps are is our client joined to the domain, so then we can carry on with some of the features that we were talking about, but then we will have a client machine too from some of the features as well. So this is our Azure Directory that is already open right now, and that Azure Active Directory has also 390 users, which are synchronized from on premises. Uh, well, PC in controller. All right. So let us go ahead and try to that if we have our client ready, how to join it to domain, and then make sure that from one of the 390 users can we log in from that. So that's what we need to do. So I'll just put that quickly in writing so we would know then what to do here. So if we install Windows 11, okay, that's where we were. So Windows is installed. The last time it was being installed. Now let's find it to domain. It's the next step. Let's log in from our domain user. Uh, let's log in from a domain user. Let's log in our domain user from Windows 11 or 10 or Windows uh, 11 9 OS. So then we will know that okay, this is correctly joined to the domain, and our domain created user, domain controller created user, Active Directory created user can log in from it as well. So we need to confirm that. Then our this we can say that it is working fine. So yeah, Jamin, can you share your screen? So Jim has the uh, working domain controller and working um, you know as well. So oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we know what that means, but um, so Jamin is about to share. Yay! Oh, there you go. So hopefully everyone is able to see this. So this is the server or the domain controller, and this is the domain controller, right? And then we're going to have the client machine. So first of all, let's go to the other machine here, which is your Windows 11. Right? Okay. Again, one more thing. Back to the Jamin, can go back to the this domain controller. Now I want to show you. Go to the top right. There is tools showing here. Tools, right? Yeah, tools on the top right. Go to tools, then open Active Directory users and computers. And the Active Directory users and computers will open, and there you can check. We can click. Once it is open, there it is. So our domain samosa.local is showing there, right? You can show computers container, the yellow folder or container called computers. Computers has nothing here because we never joined a client machine or a member server to a domain. So that's why. And if you go to domain controller, the next folder below the computers folder, yeah, or container. So we see Win01. Win01 is this machine. So this machine is our domain controller because it has Active Directory. It offers um, authentication, authorization, and accounting. So it's showing here, but its client machines are not here yet. So that's why computers container is right now empty. Right? So that's what I want to show because when we are able to join to the domain, this computers, the client machine Windows 10, 11, then it will uh, show here as well in the computers container. So you can click the computers container again, Jimin, and
So
so it is empty. Yep.
is this the method to check, either the client computer is joined to the domain or not?
Yes, that's one of the methods. ONK. So let's go to now the client machine. Now the client machine is just a freshly installed Windows 10, 11. It is 11. So Windows 11 is installed here, and it's not being joined to any domain. One thing is that it should be part of the same network as this domain controller. So let's check let's open command prompt here um, in Windows 11 and do an IP config just to know that what is the IP address. So you can go to search and type CMD, and then the command prompt is here. Click that, and then you have to type a command called ipconfig. Ipconfig. Yep. And what command it shows, what IP it shows here is 192.168.21. 128, and the gateway is 21.2. So this is the built. This machine got an IP from the built-in DHCP of this VMware workstation. VMware workstation application has a built-in DHCP as well, because our DHCP is not there. That's why. So let's go to the domain controller or the other machine and open the command prompt there and do the same, do an IP config, because they have to be in the same network. They could be joined to the domain. So first is same network. Second is DNS should be working. If we IP config here, so the IP address here is 1.200, and the second Ethernet, we added second Ethernet adapter here as well, or network card here in the domain controller, to get internet connection. But main IP range is this 192.168.1.200. What happens is that if we have a working DHCP, that DHCP should be giving an IP address automatically to that machine. So let's go to tools. Excuse me. Also decided last class that we're going to install DHCP just to go through the process of this. So I'll try to make it quick because we're talking about on-premises network. So let's expand that. This is the DHCP or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. The only purpose of DHCP is to distribute IP addresses to those client machines that do not have it. And it distributes that automatically the IP addresses to the client machines. We don't have to go there and manually put that. So we did create, I can see that we did create a DHCP in last class. So you can refer to the last class video. And then let's click the address pool. That is below folder here. Yeah. So 1.50 up to 1.100. So our DHCP already is working and it is prepared to distribute IP address to any other client machine, but the client machine did not have it. There is a reason for that. This client machine and this server has to be on the same network within this VMware workstation application. What we can do is you can right click on Jamin, you can right click on the master on the top where you can see on the top master written there, even on more top side of this machine, the white master 2022. Yeah, this one. Click here, then settings. So we need to just check that, yeah, this first network is on VMnet 1, VMnet 0. Okay. So that's the case. The other machine should be on VMnet 0 as well. The other machine. The other machine's network card should be on VMnet 0 as well. To close it, then you can go there. So yeah, here and settings. The client machine has to be on the same network to get an IP address. So you have to go up to Win 11, right click here as well. And then it on VMnet 0, same network?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So let's press O and K. Okay. They're on same network. Now, second thing is we can run a command here because we need to get the IP address from the DHCP of the first machine, right? And this is not the IP address range we were expecting. We were expecting 192.168, 1.50 or 200.50, something like that, right? Not 50, actually, we are expecting, but this is some other range. So how about we give another command called ipconfig / release. So ipconfig / release. Release just releases this IP. Hey, I don't want this IP. Whatever IP was given to me. So press enter. Then the next command is ipconfig /
Renew.
renew. Exactly. So the next command is ipconfig renew. So please renew my IP, which means that go for ipconfig space / renew. Please give me the new IP. So it's supposed to look for um, um, local DHCP and then it's supposed to get an IP address from there, but IP config, because an error occurred. The name specified in the network control block LCB is in use. So guys, okay, so we don't have to really waste a lot of time on DHCP. if it there was something that was possible. So let's just do one more thing, and then we actually have to give a static IP here as well, just to get the things going, because we have just a few million more topics. So let's do one more troubleshooting, and then let's give it a static IP or manual IP. So right click on, go back to Jimmy. You can go back to master, right click here, yeah, here, and go to settings. Do you have any other VMNet there showing? Because yeah, select
No.
this, and then on the right side, click VMNet 0. You can drop down, yeah, this one. Yeah, you have a lot. So why don't you go for any other? So like VMNet 15, C15, VMNet 15, just for there's no specific reason for that. So just keep it VMNet 15 and also remove the second network card. On the left side, you can select that and remove it. We don't need it now. We're gonna need clean network. VMNet 15 only is there. Now we're gonna go to the other machine and we're gonna put it also on VMNet 15. So in order to try to let them communicate to each other. This is like same physical switch that you're connecting two machines to in a real environment. Yeah, right click on the Win 11 on the top. Yeah, and change it to VMNet 15 as well. So they're all both on a private network, same private network. And again, do IP config renew now, because it didn't get an IP, I guess. Yeah. So it should be looking for, and there you go, 1.51. Yay. Okay. Now Windows 11 communicated with the server, and as soon as it communicated, it said, "Hey, server, where's DHCP?" And it said, "Yes, I have a DHCP. Hey, DHCP, I don't have an IP. Can you give me an IP?" And the domain controller DHCP said, "Yes, I have an IP. Sure, take it." And this is 1.50 because they are on the same network finally now and talking to each other, and there are no other network cards stopping this kind of communication. So that is resolved, that these two machines are talking to each other. One thing done. Same thing is, if you can type another command here, nslookup, 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 exactly, and press enter. Nslookup means name server or DNS. Lookup means look for it, search for it. Hey, where's my DNS in the network? Because if DNS is not working, you cannot join the domain. The machine will not be a slave of the domain controller. We want the machine to be a slave. Although slavery is banned and across the planet, but here we want this machine to be a slave of the domain controller. Anyway, so this is you can see the correct IP of the DNS at least, which is okay. 192.168.1.200. That's the correct IP of the first machine. And on the first machine, we have DNS server, right? So Control C here, Jimin, and you will go out of the interactive mode. So Control C, Control C, Control C. Let's try to put that there on the keyboard. Keep pressing Control and then C. Yeah, there you go. So you're outside of the interactive mode of NSLookup. Guys, now we are kind of ready to join this client machine to the domain. So it will be an introduction of this machine to the domain controller. Domain controller will say, "Oh, you're also here, Windows 11. Thank you very much for joining our network. From now on, I'm your commander, and you will do whatever I tell you to do." Anyway, so how do we join the domain? Let's click on the yellow folder at the bottom, not the laptop one, in the machine. Oh yeah, this one.
So first we make the network same
Exactly.
from the domain controller and the client machine.
Yeah, their IP, they have to be having the same IP range basically, or it should be pinging to each other.
I'm talking
Same
about
IP range.
VNet 0.
Exactly. So we just change it to VMnet 15, which is a private one.
Mhm.
VMnet 0 gives internet connection as well, so that can make disruptions in the network in terms of two machines talking to each other.
So if suppose we have 10 client in a
Same. They all have to be the same IP range. Or
VMnet 15 or any.
like there are 20 of them. VMnet 16 is also okay as long as they are on the same VMnet. That's the main thing. It should be on the same VMnet. It should not be VMnet 0. So
Like,
VMware
so one
2
is
or
15 or
VMware
16 is
5.
okay, or it should be 15?
So both should be on VMware 15 or should be on VMware 16 or should be on VMware 19, but they both or even all 10 should be on the same VMnet. I mean,
And the last network card you will remove that.
it was giving internet connection and it was giving that internet connection with another type of IP. So another type of IP was making disruption between the communication of both machines.
So
So
we
I had
remove them. Okay.
right, guys. So here, right click on this PC on the left side. Thank you. And then properties. We're joining this machine to domain, provided that DNS is working fine. So yeah, name is already good, and we can domain or workgroup exactly. So this is written there, domain or workgroup. This one, click that, and then click the change button. And now computer name is good, but domain, yes. So what is your domain name? What is it? Anyone knows?
Samosa.local.
So, sorry, what do you say?
Samosa.local is the domain name.
Samosa.local, exactly. So let's type domain name samosa.local. If you remember the spellings, that's good. Go ahead. So, samosa.local, exactly. And hey, if this comes, it's a good news that it says, okay, which user account is authorized to join this client machine to the domain, Microsoft domain. So now we will put the administrator username and password. OP admin. Okay, you created OP admin. That's good.
Like on-premise admin.
So remember that we created a copy of the administrator account, and then I created Amir admin and you created OP admin, which is okay. And there you go. Welcome to the samosa.local domain. So now this is the process of joining a machine to the domain. If it is 10,000 machines, it's the same process. You join the machine to the domain this way. So it is welcome. It's going to restart after this. So go ahead and press OK. And OK, and it's going to ask for a restart, close, and restart now. So guys, this is a very good experience. I've seen many students who join the cloud courses. They don't know anything about on-premises environments. Than those who are coming from on-premises environment and they know how to join the domain and many of the things. So then when they go for interview, only knowing cloud, then they face real problems of on-premises, how on-premises really works. Seriously. Okay, so that's the thing that you should know. Every course should have some older technology also showing because every company right now, majority of the companies have this. They expect you to know already these processes. Okay, let's go to the server side. Does this machine appear in the computer yellow folder in Azure? No, no, in Active Directory. Yeah, we're already there. So let's close our DHCP. And yeah, this is Active Directory users and computers. The computers container, we need to refresh. Yeah, there it is now. It was empty before. Now it sees that, oh, client 01 is joined to the domain. So it shows it here. And that's the proof that it is joined to the domain successfully. It's still starting. It's installing all the updates from 1920. So, well, this is the process of joining the domain. Thank you, Jimin, for sharing your machine. I'll switch to my machine now. But let me know. We can switch one more time to Windows 11. How long will it take for the updates? If you can keep the Windows, yeah, thank you. Ah, okay, that's gonna take long. Anyway, it's just good. Once it is done, let us know, right? I'll switch to my screen now because we need to then go back to cloud, Azure Active Directory, and explore some more features. While oh, it's restarting. Because there's one more last task that we need to do here. That is to log in from that user from one of the 390 users. Remember, we created with PowerShell 390 users in Active Directory. Jamin, if you may show that on the yeah, domain. And where are the 390s? In the Exchange users container, we have 390 users. So any of these users can now log in from that Windows 10 11 machine. Then we can actually deploy Microsoft Outlook, which helps in email. We can deploy Teams, which helps in meetings and conferences. And the Outlook will be connecting to the Microsoft Exchange that is in the cloud. Teams will be connecting to the application called Teams, which is in the cloud, not here in on-premises. That's going to be unique. How they connect to the cloud while they're also joined to the domain here. So that's going to be very interesting. Um, so okay, so yeah, it's gonna go ahead. So um, let it install all the updates, and whenever it's done, let us know. So I'm gonna share my screen and go back to the diagram as well. What are our next steps, and also that uh, what else we need to do here. But the client side is very important, obviously. That tells you that adds your experience. You will be asked those who will be joining first time in the IT world, they will be starting jobs. So Outlook related questions will come to you that, okay, if email is slow or Outlook is not opening, because that's something that every employee will have. Outlook related issues you should know, printer related issues you should know, desktop jobs. If you haven't ever dealt with the printers, try to purchase some printer. Now there are printers that are available in like 40, $50 even. Uh, the inkjet printers especially. So you can try to add those printers at home just to get an idea about that and share it with all machines at home. You need to know all those as well. Anyway, those were the basics, but I'm also trying to share desktop related jobs more and searching. And know that I've started that sharing jobs daily, new jobs daily in my other job group. So let's go ahead. Let's log into a domain. This is remaining here, right? How to install? So install Outlook uh, app, client app in the machine app and install Teams app. Now these apps must be connected to the cloud, right? So must be connected to Microsoft 365. So obviously we have to install Office 365. So how to do that? What is that feature and which license offers you to download that feature? So you should know all that because you will be configuring all the cloud related configurations in client machines, in your employees' machines. Right? Must be connected to Microsoft 365. Exchange. Uh, and this is also same thing. So Microsoft 365 but Teams. So once you have this environment, I mean, it gets more interesting because then we put policies, different policies, and how do they affect basically client machines. Okay, so Jimmy says, sir, do you have any troubleshooting resource at one place which explain the detailed steps to troubleshoot? Uh, Troubleshoot what? Anything or specific? Because every application has their own troubleshooting steps. Anything. Okay. So, I have a pedestal fan at home, and I had to troubleshoot yesterday for that. So I'll share that video. I'm just kidding. Okay. So yeah, anything IT, you mean? Okay. So, okay. In fact, you can hear the sound here. Zzz. That's the pedestal fan. So yeah, I'm in an apartment and just what am I talking about? So here, now we have it is ready. Okay, okay, let's go back. So guys, let's finish one side of task and then go for Azure. Otherwise, you will be here and there and confused. So yeah, Jamin, can you share? Oh, nice jungle. Oh, okay. So this is the local account, right? We're not gonna log in from the local account in Windows 11. We're gonna log in from domain account. Remember that always. So, excuse me. If you log in from local account, you cannot access a lot of network services. So, do you see that other user at the bottom? Let's click that. Now we need a synchronized username and password. So let's go to the server, log in from a domain user. So yeah, one of the user Alan Reed is there. Alan.read is the second one. So Alan.read and the password I think is capital P A S S WRD1, password one. So let's go there and type Alan.reid because that's a domain user. Alan.reid. So machine is joined to the domain, so any domain user can also log in. So the password is capital P, then lowercase ASSWORD password, and number one. You can show by clicking the I as well once you're done. Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and log in. You can see the sign in to Samosa. That's the domain name. And yes, that's very good. So guys, a domain user. So suppose there are 10,000 Windows 11 machines. Suppose this domain user can log in from any of the 10,000 domain joined Windows 10 or 11 machines because they're all joined to the domain. They're on the network. So this network user, domain user, can log in from any of those machines. Unless you put special policy, no, this user only log in from that machine. That's the benefit of being on the network. Right? So yeah, this user is logging in now, which is very good. And let's.
Excuse me. For the password, is it created when we're trying to profile the users on the cloud? How do we get the password?
No. Remember that we use the PowerShell script. So the PowerShell script has this password. We can change it anytime here,
I
and we can
remember.
even change it in the script as well.
Thank you. I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, the user is logged in, which is very good. One problem here is that this machine does not have internet connection. In a production environment, internet would be coming to you from a small company. It would be from SL router of the company. In a big company, it will be from a proxy server. So in a production environment, normally you have proxy servers. What are proxy servers? Internet goes through that proxy server application, and then they control the internet. They can block your Facebook, they can block they can block any website from there, and it comes to your machines. When I was in Scotiabank, they had 80,000 users there. I will keep saying that this example of Scotiabank environment. So we had a proxy server there, and we can control who can go to website. We can also see who is on website on who is on which website. So that was big company. It's proxy server. Proxy server. Anyway, so once we are logged in, you can see one thing. Jimin, if you can open the CMD search and CMD and type one command called who am I? So CMD, yeah, and then type who am I? One word. Who am I? Exactly. Now it tells you you're logged into a domain called Samosa / and which user is logged in from that domain? Alan.read. So then current status will be shown here that which domain, which user is right now logged in. So it could be multiple domains in big companies as well. Anyway, second thing is so the objective now is to install Outlook and Teams quickly so we can say that now our client is ready for next labs, right? So we need internet connection on Windows 11 as well. Um, what we need is a second network card that is connected to NAT. So let's click settings and just go down to add, go the network adapter and finish. It's already on NAT anyway. Default it is on NAT, which provides internet connection to this machine. So that's it. Oh, okay. Hugo says exit. So exit. Okay. Wrong window. Okay, no problem. So yeah, press OK. Oh, okay. No, I was going to run out of my apartment because you said exit. So that was scary for me. Just kidding. Exit. What happened? Okay. So yeah, once you press OK, now we should have internet connection here. And from within the client machine, we're gonna connect to our Microsoft 365 environment. So Jimin, you can go to your browser in the laptop and copy that URL. Once, this internet is there and the browser is working. Okay, yeah. So here, yeah, we can go to the edge on there. Yeah, the gray and blue, this one. And now we can log in from Microsoft 365 as an admin. Hope you remember everything, or oh, you don't have internet? You have internet, right? Yeah, let's confirm that. So yeah, start without your data. You can just and recent browsing data and yeah, go through all that. And now I hope we have internet connection. Yeah, seems like yeah, we're good. So I hope you remember. So you can type here portal.office.com and then I hope you remember your you like caps lock. Okay, that's good. So okay. portal.office.com, log in. That's great. Now the domain was kind of tricky. Hopefully you remember that. You have just log in from admin account.
We
So
cannot
guys,
come directly here.
uh-huh.
We
cannot
cannot
what?
come directly here in this screen.
Where?
Like begin from the Office 365. So if we go directly on the search bar and type in the portal.office365.com.
That link could be also typed. Anyway, this way or that way, both good. Right, MFA. That's very, very good. Yeah, cool. Very good. Okay, so now we're logged in from the developer 3-month free trial account that we were already using. And that's very, yeah, admin is there. Good. But hey, stay here, stay on this, Jimin. Thank you very much for, showing us all this. So you can see that on the top right, you can see install apps. This comes with E3 and E5 packages. E3 and E5 license. We have the top E5 license, right? That also lets you install, download the MS Office and use it. With E3 license, Enterprise 3 license, you can also download. With Enterprise 1 license, it's only online. So anyway, let's click the install apps, and yeah, pretty much install the whole MS Office because this one, Microsoft 365 apps, got it, and then it's gonna download it, and then basically it's gonna download a small file, but then we will, yeah, this one. When we click and next, it's going to install the whole MS Office, which will have Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It will have as well, but we don't need that. But anyway, it's going to get installed, which is okay. In fact, later, maybe there will be some labs on that too. So let every lab install, and basically we need Outlook and Teams. Even when we will be deploying it, there will be a Intune course as well. So we will be deploying through central MDM or mobile device management application called Intune. We're going to be deploying that on our cell phones as well. Then I'll show you how to deploy apps on cell phone and tablets. So user account control security is good. That, hey, you're installing some application. Are you sure? So you put the local admin, not local admin, domain admin account. Did it show Samosa? So that's where the download was, and yeah, it is showing Samosa domain. Yeah, the spellings are wrong. User spelling. Yeah, okay, good. Install sales. And, oh wow, those are not. It was saying admin privilege required to install. The local user has no rights to install. That's a very good thing. Users that we created from script have no rights to install any application. So you have an admin. So they call the desktop support guys. Desktop support guys user account can install for the user. This is something also you should know when you're going for desktop support jobs, that users do not have the rights to install any app. This is the way that you do. You just put your username, password, or get a separate user that has only rights to install applications. Anyways, now the MS Office will start installing, and is it installing somewhere or still starting, right?
I think it's installing.
Oh, it is, okay.
Showing
Somewhere.
here.
Sometimes it hides. No, it doesn't actually. No, I think it's still trying to start to install because then VMware Workstation, it does tend to go very slow. It might still pop up screen somewhere, and then you have to click next. So it's waiting to be pop up, or you can just double click again.
Yeah.
Downloads and file. Already being installed. Okay, it is installing. Right. So it will just simply then appear, or Word, Excel, PowerPoint will start appearing here if it is done. Yeah. Oh, maybe there's a pop-up in the background. You click something. Yeah, Office is there. Well, it's in the process of installing. We're okay. We're good.
Is
So
this on-premises installation or in the cloud?
from the cloud, we can install Office this way. And so it will take its time. And yeah, processing depends on machine speed, internet speed, and speed.
It's installing.
Oh, there you go. So it's installing. Will be done in just a moment. O and K. So while this is going on, obviously it will end up installing Teams, all these applications, but we're interested in Outlook and Teams. So when they are done, this is done. So it should not be a big deal to configure the Outlook and Teams. Not be. And but this gives us now more a realistic environment with in a typical office. This will be your environment, and we can test all the policies on this. Later, we may have to create similar type of another machine with exactly same joining the domain client 02 exactly same settings. Whatever we did here in client 01, we may need another one later as well. Because in Intune Labs, in previous course, I implemented some policy. It was not implementing on first machine for some reason. We were troubleshooting, so we needed another machine right away. So later, in fact, now you know the video. Your task would be to follow the video and install client 02 Windows 11 or 10 machine as well, uh, following exactly the same steps from scratch, and log in from any of the 390 users from there as well. Install Outlook there as well. So I'm going to put that assignment there, assignment in WhatsApp, that please install client 02 another Windows 11 client VM so before the next class.
I already have installed.
And
Back.
video. What you were saying?
I think I already have installed a backup machine.
Oh, good, good.
Because if you need
Wow,
to
man.
after spread.
Amazing. So another Windows 11 client VM before the next class where I'm recording the video today. So we should have client 01 and client 02. Or, it will be ready for the next all apps that will be having some much more detailed experiments. Okay, so this will just keep on going. It may take time. I'll switch to my screen now. So as administrators, we should be always use IT administrators. We should always be used to multitasking. While this is going on, I'm going to share my screen now. Thank you, Jamin. You can also keep an eye on that. And thank you for sharing. So I'll just switch to my screen. Hopefully you're seeing my screen now. And I'm gonna open the chat and everything. Once Windows is done, we can always switch back. It is recording, so you don't miss anything, but you repeat all the labs because that's gonna really increase your experience. So now what we need to do is this was going on, okay, and password right back. So it was also an appointment. Let's say appointment. Maybe I'm having an appointment next week, so that's okay. This was an assignment, and that assignment was assignment. We must enable this option. Password write back is because of that, need for this machine was even more. So password write back was the topic. We must enable this option in AADC, Azure Active Directory Connect. It will be permanently selected for future synchronizations. Assignment 2 is, that was assignment. So anyone was able to do that assignment or now, okay, at least try to do it this week. Assignment 2 is to share the results of a synced user's password change in the cloud and successfully written back to on-prem DC. So this is something that we, you can always try and you can share. Okay, so Jim says I will do after the class, so that's very good. But guys, you have to be really determined to do all the labs and all the assignments, and this will make your confidence go real sky high. And technically, market needs troubleshooters, so you go through these to troubleshoot yourself on this and share your troubleshooting with others as well, or ask for help on the WhatsApp group. That will show your dedication, definitely. That will really increase your knowledge and experience. So this is one more thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the more objectives of where we were. Yeah, there was another assignment here, assignment one. So guys, better go for. I'm gonna just put in WhatsApp one more thing. Please create screenshots of your assignments, copy it in MS Word document, and email it to me on itguy@gmail.com. Um, uh, ASAP, right? So it only is for your own benefit, right? Okay, anyway, it is not writing. It is not writing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was writing that, I was writing that on WhatsApp. So yeah, because WhatsApp is our central communication right now. So please, you need to submit all the assignments and let me check. Obviously, my friends also send me some job. Hey, is there anyone who is available to be forwarded the resume for? So definitely, if you're submitting assignments, check them and see that who is on what technical level. Could also refer my friends or any other jobs. It will be beneficial for you to do all the assignments. Okay, let's go ahead, guys. Let's keep exploring all the. Let's keep. Okay, let's keep exploring all the Azure AD features because there's so many that you would want to test. And there's a big lab that I was supposed to give last course about SSO. I'm going to be explaining soon. There's that lab, and I'm still working on it. And hopefully this weekend I'll finish that because I had to purchase an $18 month subscription just to do that lab. And obviously I'll be showing you that all the steps, and then whoever among you want to do that, and you must do the SSO lab. Well, when it comes, I'll explain the whole thing. Let's go ahead and I'll just switch back to my screen here, which is this one. So we were here in Azure Active Directory. So Azure Active Directory, and we were in all users. And in the all users, we were talking about all these features, and then we did sign-in logs, audit logs, password reset. So you can authentication methods, registration. I think we covered all that as well. So then if we go back here, user settings, in the user area, there are lots of settings here that we should at least know once they are there, because when there's a requirement, asked by the management, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Do we have this feature available? So if you're knowledgeable, then yes, you can really jump and say that, yes, I know this feature. It is there. So the main is I was just putting that chair there so I can put my legs up. Just kidding. So yeah, here. So the user settings, default user role permissions. Users can register applications. Right? So users can register applications. Why? So you can see that if you don't touch any of these settings yourself, one by one, go to every nick and corner of the features of Active Directory and whatever application you are the owner of, every application, right? So you need to be you need to make sure that what options are enabled and what options are not enabled according to your company compliance policy. So your company compliance policy says that any of the unnecessary options or any of the options that give end users more unnecessary privileges, rights to do things, turn off those options, which gives end users a lot of privileges, right? So this is unnecessary privilege. Why should user register application? Suppose the users are developers. Suppose your company only has developers. Developers need to have more privileges, yes. End users should be registering applications. Oh, I want this application to be installed. It's a cool signature application. No, you don't. You ask the administrators. You ask us first, and we will evaluate if this application is important for the company, and then will get approval from your boss and my boss, IT boss, and whichever department user is boss. And then after the approval process, we're going to deploy that application. You, user, can use it. So there are so many options that are default settings. If you don't know, they are just giving users. So in my company, I discovered that any user can create teams. Oh, we haven't talked about teams yet. So any user can create teams. Teams creates Sharepoint website. Teams create also automatically a security group. We had 300 security groups, and any end user can create teams. So we discovered that. Then I blocked it for all the users, and now they request me, can you create a group? Can you create a SharePoint site? Can you create a Teams? Now that's more like it, right? So end users should not be creating stuff. So Hugo says in the chat, sir, but if the opinion or option was enabled, my Office installer asked for admin password. So that Office was asking for admin password in the client machine, right? So this is client machine and this is on premises. So this setting has nothing to do with this is an online setting. So how can a user go for an application? See this? If I'm here, so there are apps here. See this apps. So in the apps, if I go, there are cloud apps. There are so many apps. I mean, utilities and education, communication, content management, project management, developer tools. So they can actually install. So if I go to all apps on the right side here, so that's a lot of apps, and there are actually even more than that. So in the app market, so they should not be deploying without permission any of these, although even they are related to your business. So end users have all this poor IT backgrounds, or they just want to learn, oh, what is this? But it could be not good for production environment. Okay, so here, restrict non-admin users from creating tenants. Obviously, why would they dare create tenants? So if I go up to overview, I made that change, right? So I need to save it. I'm going to save that. Successfully updated user settings. Let's
That's
go. Yeah.
security is also open here. He
Yeah,
created the
so
security groups.
yes, exactly. So the thing is that this one is already no, which is good. But what is creating tenants? We may have talked about that or not, I guess. So I'm just going to go to overview. Am I not on overview? Directory, right? Excuse me. So I'm clicking a button. Oh, I'm refreshing the whole browser. Okay, so enter admin center, and I want to go to Active Directory and overview. Right? So when we go to overview, there's a tenant here, right? And tenant is just another directory that you can create and do your stuff in. Guys, did we cover tenants? Yes, no, maybe. Yes. No, that means yes. Just kidding. So yeah, so tenant. Uh, as soon as the terminology comes, you should know that. So we are working in our tenant here. Tenant is that, you know, what's our tenant here outside? I mean, landlord and tenants. So I'm a tenant here, and my landlord, I'm paying a rent for my apartment, and I'm a tenant in this apartment. And my landlord, the company, seriously, now I'm going to tell my bank account information. So, no, just kidding. So yeah, my landlord, so it's a company that owns this building. Right? So I'm just a tenant who is using the services of this apartment. This is a whole tenant where we can work, we can create users, we can create groups, we can create devices, we can create applications, we can work here, we can do whatever we want here. It's our working field. Exactly. So Jamin says in the chat, landlord is Microsoft. Exactly. So Microsoft is the landlord here. I am a tenant using there, but I can create another playground for me, another separate working environment for me by creating another tenant. So if this tenant, see this tenant, I have some users here, all users. I go, I have a lot of users here, but I want to create another tenant where I want to have just 5 users. Suppose I want to test some application on just 5 users. But whatever I do in the other tenant will not affect these, suppose, 400 users. Okay? So whatever I do here in the other Active Directory tenant will not affect this. So while we were going to explore the users features, we see a new terminology. We need to understand that. Okay. And Fauzi says in the chat, a tenant is an instance of AAD. There you go. There you go. And we can create another instance of Active Directory. So this is Azure Active Directory working area where we are having users, groups, devices, applications, right? So I want to create another tenant. So I'm just going to go to the tenant, manage tenant, and already our tenant is created for us. But I say that, no. What I want to do some vigorous testing, a lot of testing, and I'm afraid that if I do that testing here, it might affect my production environment. Suppose these are the production environment, these are our actual users, and I don't want to mess with this whole Active Directory configurations and environment, right? So what I can do is I can go to overview, I can go to tenants here, and then I can click create. And there's a workforce, security manager, employees, and business partners. There's a workforce and there's a customer review. This is still under review. Which type of users will you manage in this tenant? So security manager, customer identities, and set up seamless authentication. So choose Azure AD for your own workforce or your customers to configure a tenant. A tenant contains a directory for managing users and provides identity and access management capabilities, applications, resources used by your organization. So whatever Active Directory does, you just want to have another instance of that, a separate instance that does not affect the first one where all the actual production environment users are. This will be a totally another environment, another instance of the same thing, Active Directory here. So suppose I go for, I want to create for workforce. To create Azure Active Directory B2C tenants, switch to Azure portal. Now, okay, then there's another terminology B2C. We're going to talk about that. But right now, we're going for another tenant. So I'm going to select that workforce here, security manager, employees, and business partners. Suppose I click continue. It says tenant name. Oh, you have a tenant name here. So suppose I say it's dev environment, dev env, development environment, which means I just need to do a lot of testing here. And so dev tenant, I can say dev tenant. And here I have to give some kind of name and it's going to attach it to a free Microsoft domain here. So I can go for, Samosa dev. We're going to test and taste all samosas here every day. Wow, heaven for me. So samosa dev dot Microsoft.com. I hope I am able to put dash here. So if I go, no, that's all for my makes sense. Yeah. Samosa dev Microsoft.com. And that's it. So this domain cannot be edited or deleted. You can add customized domains later. Yeah, I just want some domain. And location, always stick to one thing called whenever you're creating resources. always stick to the policy of data residency, which means create resources that will host sensitive company data within the country. In the country data centers, we can say. So whatever, if you're creating a tenant, if you're creating a new user or you're writing a new application, you'll ask which country data centers you want to use for that. So obviously, whichever country you're in, you have to use that data center. So this is by default should be your policy unless the company doesn't care. Or the company says, yeah, we have clients on United States, or we have clients in Taiwan as well. So that's why we can create here. So if there's a specific reason, then go outside of your country premises. Otherwise, stay in Canada. Location selected above determines the data center of your tenant. There you go. So yes, we want to use our country data centers. It's always a security and legal obligations are there as well. Why did you save your data in US data center? Suppose when company's compliance policy documentation, legal documentation says that we have to follow data residency policy. So anyway, this is once chosen, it says create. That's it. I'm just gonna click 3 and 8. And then it says just make sure that we are not robots. I am making sure I am not a robot. So submit. And something going on somewhere. Yes. So testing. Sometimes when you're frustrated, you can do this mouse thing, and it really does nothing. Tenant creation in progress. This will take a few minutes. Yeah, it's the tenant creation, so it does take time. You can just watch outside the window if you have outside scene. And yeah, see this? So it gives me real satisfaction by doing this. And it's waiting, it's just venting out my frustration on something here. See? You can do this as well, and this as well, right? Up, down, and word. Just kidding. Yeah. So David says in chat, do another tenant has any additional charges? That is a very good question. Um, well, it should tell us that there is billing related to that, but it doesn't tell us to know. As long as you create another tenant, it should not have, but there are so many services attached to it that the billing will start right away. So just creating a tenant, no. As soon as you start any service, yes. So that tenant creation was successful. Click here to navigate to your new tenant. Okay, this is dev tenant. I'm gonna click that tenant now. It is opening another tab here. So yeah, this tab it goes to another tab, and now I should be logged into. So you can see here on the top right, dev tenant. If I click down here, you can switch. We also call it directory. So it's another instance of Acrobat, right? So another directory which has nothing to do with the first directory. We can always switch to between the other production tenant and a dev or development tenant. So once I'm in the development tenant, so I can go to Azure Active Directory here as well. And so anyone can tell me this should be all those users here as well, right? So this is for all users in the production environment, right? These are all the users. So these same users should be there as well, right? We say quick, quick. There'd be all these users there as well, right? Or Jamil says no. Hugo says no. Sandeep says no. Guys, are you sure? Uh-huh. Anyone else? These same users should be there as well. Yes, no. Anyone remaining? Anyone disputing this? Or it should be no, or Vijay says yes. So there's a difference of opinion now. Why is that? Why there is a difference of opinion? No, like Fozia says no. Okay. So David says it's a different tenant. Exactly, it's a different tenant. So those who said no are correct. Right? Well, I was saying that before as well. It's supposed to be a different tenant. So this is the production environment users. These are supposed the actual employees. If I go to dev tenant and go to users, so this is totally different environment. So if I go back here, Active Directory, users, all users, production environment and Active Directory is there as well, and users. So this is Active Directory and users. Exactly, that's a test environment. That's, yeah, we called it test environment, but it could be a separate environment, which is actually, suppose the tenant one. If I get, not tenant one, but production. So suppose we go for production tenant. And production tenant has, yeah, all the employee, users, groups, applications, security policies, security and compliance policies. So compliance and security policies, that's a actual production environment, right? So you can't afford to have anything happening here. And then there's a dev tenant. So dev tenant, that's really your test environment. Well, if you created it like a dev tenant, so test environment. So and then you create some users here as well. I mean, you have to recreate that. So created some test users and test users groups applications, right? So groups applications. But that's not all. You can have, okay, so Jamie says there is no point to have same users in another tenant if we want to test anything. Exactly. That's why we made another tenant, right? Exactly. So that's the reason why would we create another tenant if it is the exact copy of the first one? One thing. Second thing, guys. Yes, you saw that there's a production tenant up there. It has production applications, but you can go for production 2 tenant as well. So this is equally important, suppose. There are some more applications, other applications, which are offering something else and equally important. And according to those applications, usage of those, you have specific compliance and security policies for those applications as well. So production 1 tenant, you can have production 2 tenant, production 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 tenants, you can have production 1 tenant, production 2 tenant. So there could be as many production tenants as well. Even then comes the Azure B2C. Oh, what is that now? Business to client. So Azure B2C offers your client users with client users outside of organization to connect. So offers your client users outside of your organization to connect to your application in an via SSO, which is single sign on. So B2C is just that you offer some applications. The client wants to connect to your, offers your clients outside of your organization to connect to your applications. So suppose, for example, a client having Gmail can connect to your app, and after going through proper authentication, so etc. So your clients can connect. You don't have to create specific. Suppose you have 20,000 clients. Suppose you have 30,000 clients. You can technically you can, but you don't want to create company emails for 30,000 clients. They're just outside clients connecting to your applications that are offering some kind of services. Suppose it's insurance company. Insurance company has an insurance company application. There are like 200,000 outside users connecting to that insurance company application. You don't want to create 200,000 accounts, or maybe you don't want to, but some companies do that too. So, but in fact, many companies, as I said, okay. So, yeah, to your applications. Now, you can just use their own whatever email address to whatever domain is. For example, Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, or whatever mail. So you can just connect those clients with single sign-on. It means that, hey, whichever domain you're coming from, if it is secure and we know we test it and properly know that it is secure, then yes, you can connect to our application. So B2C also offers clients to connect to your applications while you don't need to really add them to your domain, right? So this lab also is kind of under construction, and I actually I want to switch towards slowly to DevOps, and ultimately want to. I'm preparing for a DevOps course as well, because this is so important for you to know DevOps if you know cloud, which is development and operations, right? So some level of coding or development, some level only, easier level of you don't have to be a programmer, you need to know. Anyway, so I'll show you how to do that too. So if we go to the chat here, so we create test environment, yeah, and in real environment to test as well. So Jamin says in chat, so this is how we create test environment in real time to test. That's it. Yeah, we just go through another tenant created. Developers also are involved because they are professional programmers in the cloud. So then they connect your second tenant to B2C. Basically, you would create another tenant for B2C purpose, B2B, business to business or business to client purpose. So that lab is also on its way. This time I'll try to just have those labs ready. Anyway, so yes, this is how it's done in production environments. We have 5 tenants in my company. We have 5 B2C tenants, 4 B2C tenants, and 1 that production tenant, right? So, and those B2C tenants are connecting thousands of users. Okay. So Vijay says in the chat, whatever changes we make here will not affect our users, since it is exactly, yes. It's a totally separate environment within your same subscription, right? So if I go back here, you still are subscribed through this admin user, and you will be billed for the 2 tenant services that you're using. So within the same subscription, billing subscription, you get to have 2 separate environments, and they just offer you separation of administration. And Jenny says in the chat, but same company domain name for all tenants, right? Well, you can see that it's a totally different domain here. I mean, like when we were creating, so it is .onmicrosoft.com here as well. Where's domains? If I go to domains here, this is the Azure Active Directory. If I go to custom domains, this one, yeah, it's a different domain. Excuse me. So either your domain could be here on the first tenant. So now I'm going to switch tenant, right? I'm going to switch from here. Switch directory is, you have to use the switch directory. Click. Let me see both tenants here. And you want to switch to the production one. We didn't call it production, but we can call it production as well. So switch. This is the domain we purchased from ready.com, right? So I switch, yeah, it goes to the production environment we have, which is Azure Active Directory, but this is not Microsoft 365. This is actually Azure IaaS, part of that. But Azure Active Directory is still the same. If there are users, it's all those same users here that we were seeing there. So then I want to switch back to the dev environment. So I go to switch directory, and then there's a dev, and it says switch. So in my company, we have like three more of those. Big companies, you may have here 16, 20, 40, 50, even whichever, whatever your purpose is. Switch, I'm back to dev environment now, tenant, and now I can do whatever I want, knowing that it's not going to affect my production environment. So I haven't deployed any service, so it's not going to charge me, but as I deploy, so yeah, it's going to really charge me. So you can have Azure Ready Connect here as well, and synchronize here as well, which will be separate. But the thing is that, yes, you have to attach another domain here. Yeah, when we're talking about tenants, so this is kind of what we should have in mind, right? Okay, so these days in chat, what is the best practices? Should we create a tenant from first place and place all users? Their default is okay. Yeah, default is production always. Unless we have some good reason to not have it, default is always a production. And there, all the services are always available, and we have to be very careful here. Yes, this always you will find as production environment, and other tenants are majority of the time you will see, or 99% of the time you will see as different for different purposes, especially for B2C, business to client. Yeah.
So any limitations on tenant versus production, or we have all the same access to all resources?
Yeah, there's a good question here. So you can make the other tenant exactly working like the first one, as long as it's not B2C. The purpose of a B2C tenant is a bit different. It is to let outside thousands of users connect to your application. So that environment is different. If you create another tenant that pretty much acts like the production one, so yes, whatever you have in production, provided you attached all the licenses, yes, the second one will also act exactly the same way. There's no limitations at all in terms of services. What we have here premium 2 license here, or if you haven't created that license, then you can add all the licenses here as well. This is an exact copy of that. It's just totally separate version of administration is providing right now, and you just start investing and spending on licenses, it becomes exactly the same like the first one. Just
thank you.
Version of administration, that's the main thing. Okay, but B2C is a totally different story. Its use case is different, so that's why obviously it will be different as well. So here, if we go back, yes, this is the tenant we created. You know what? I'm gonna keep this tenant there just to not have any surprises. From time to time I get a dent in my wallet by doing different tests, but when we are testing, we learn. So sometimes you have to be reckless to learn a lot. Then you go to the production environment, you have more knowledge and experience to make better decisions. So being reckless in this environment and not be afraid of losing $10, $20, is something that will help you a long way, right? So fear has to be removed first. Oh, it will cost me something. Yeah, I mean, be prepared for $5, $10, $20. But if you're afraid, forget that you're going to be learning deep, at least, not deep. So do the test yourself. You do it. You're going to go in depth. Your level of knowledge will be totally different. Your level of confidence will be different as well when you do it yourself. You see it someone happening, it's like when you're about to do yourself, it's like, oh, you're like, shivering hands and you're like, oh, do it yourself here in the test environment. So the confidence will be there with ease of, with ease you will be doing everything in production environment. And you always see how confident you are, how confident you are when the managers give you some tasks. They note you, they scan you, how confident you are to do this task, right? Anyway, so this is tenant. This is pretty much about tenant, and yeah, if I want to suppose do some expenditure here, so I would go to licenses here. This one, licenses in Active Directory. It's a dev tenant, right? So here I can start purchasing products. I can start try buy. I start purchasing. So I can enable this license, which enables mobility and security, and I can enable this. This gives me Active Directory Premium 2. This is pretty much the exact same thing. So if I go to production and I go to Active Directory here as well, Microsoft, they have done the enter admin thing that has gotten me into searching for things. They rearranged the things. Okay, anyway, licenses is here. So it's pretty much same here as well. This is a production now, right? Production. Here also I can do pretty much same thing. I can do in the same, right? Okay, so whatever you invest in, whichever, it's the same unless you're going for B2C. That is a totally different story. If I go to, so since I was talking about tenant now, so one more thing here. If I go to overview, right, there was managed tenants here. I'm going to pick managed tenants again now from the production environment, right? Click manage tenants. And click. I've created one dev tenant, which if I spend more money, could offer me the same services as the production one. But if I click create again, then there's workforce and there's customer. Securely manage your customer identities and set up seamless authentication. So it says here, create Azure Active Directory B2C tenants, switch to Azure portal. Oh, what's that? Well, this course is coming at the end. This is the craziest course. I mean, not this craziest course, but the whole course that I started, 5-in-1. What was I thinking? Seriously. Anyway, so this full course is coming at the end of Microsoft 365 services. And still, if I click that, since we're talking about tenants, the deeper the better. So, no, this is not what I wanted to go for. Because when you go to Microsoft Azure IaaS infrastructure as a service, then you have to attach a credit card to it. Then it lets you connect to those services that are offered on IaaS or infrastructure. So you must have there you go, subscription, which means attach a credit card there. Just we will be doing that too. I think Dev does not offer Azure without credit card because you're going to use underlying hardware of their data centers. So they will ask you to put a credit card there for that purpose. But once you put that subscription there, then you see B2C there, business to. Otherwise, this is the normal one that we just created now. Right? But B2C is different, and I intend to put the B2C lab this time because I need to get some developer side of stuff and test it first, and then show you that actual B2C. Because my company has 4 B2C directories there, and they were all created by developers. So I cannot see in a production environment that developers time what they did. So we're going to do it here. We're going to try to do it there. I'll try my best. Unless somebody sends me samosas and samosa power makes me do the lab faster. That's my, what am I talking about? Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'll just go for this. I'm going to close that. So, Jamin, you're like in Calgary, right? So samosa traveling from Calgary is not going to be fresh. I'm just kidding. Okay. So here, I'll close that. But this is right now as near to we go to B2C, but I intend to create the B2C directory. I just need them. So most of power, maybe I'll go purchase today some. Anyway, so I'll close that. That's the other one, and this is really important for you to at least understand as a infrastructure administrator that when developers come to you, they will ask to create B2C directory. I do handle B2C directories as well, but it's basic management. But how it was connected to the back end in the applications, yes, this is a purely developer side of stuff. We are not developers, we are not programmers. But I'll try to get some very basic application to connect at least. So this is something I put in my mind as something to come up with because we need to peak towards some of the developer side of work as well. Guys, I'm going to crazily pursue that, but hopefully I'm determined enough. But DevOps is you're an infrastructure admin and cloud administrator already. So this must be your next target, DevOps. And you must know what is it, what does it do, what are CI/CD pipelines, what is automation there. It's not just automation; it's developers and us. We are this side. We're the operations. You guys are all operations. Developers who develop the application, they need to deploy it on this environment. So they need you, ops, to do your work. We need to peek inside this dev side as well. Hey, what are you guys doing really? Everything, but if you're a programmer, yeah, you might know, but otherwise you should know that, okay, how the application works. So my suggestion is, I'm gonna put it on WhatsApp now. Okay, I'll put it here in the WhatsApp. Please go and do research on what is DevOps. YouTube. And make a summary 2 to 5 liner. So I'm going to put a question on YouTube and you can put it in the comments and put it in the comments in the YouTube video link I will send. Do you know what is DevOps? Exactly. So you need to know that, Google it, try to know more, to go deeper. But this is what you must know if you say that you're a cloud administrator. Right? I am finding it, should have gone here earlier, but I'm finding it really hard to talk to developers now because they're asking more and more developer side of stuff, which they're supposed to know. But now I realize that I need to know that too. I kind of knew that before. I didn't take it really seriously. But now I need to go to the deeper technical implementation side of that. And I need to add it to all my courses. So in future courses and hopefully in this course also, I'll try to insert a lot of DevOps. And maybe in future classes, I'll be creating a free DevOps site where I can show you some of the daily workings of a DevOps environment, right? So this is something that you need to seriously take up the challenge. Okay. Nice. So that said, the management, so the tenant creation is explained. It's pretty clear. I'm in, that production tenant, and then I'm also here in dev tenant. I kind of don't need that right now, dev tenant. So, but in future, if we need it, so it's there. It's always there. Okay? So I'll keep it in a way that I need to know that if they charge, I know they don't charge, but Microsoft can change, AWS can change, anyone in the cloud can change their policies anytime. I'm going to keep it here, but I know that they don't charge that. Just treating a tenant, don't charge. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to switch to. I'm already on the production tenant, and where did this discussion start? We were in user settings, and then in user settings, restrict non-admin users from creating tenants. So that's where we started. So it's Somebody said something.
Amit
Okay,
bhai,
so yeah,
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 I text you the how to become a DevOps engineer
yeah. This is I was
on
just seeing
WhatsApp.
now. Yeah, let me just show that to everyone. Uh,
Can you check, if what we have to do, um, go
and there
through
is
this.
so much there on the internet. You start talking about it, and whoa! So this is it. To become a DevOps engineer and Linux, AWS, Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft Azure, Docker, Ansible, GitHub, Jenkins, Nagios, Grafana, Kubernetes, GCP, Terraform, Python, Sonar, QB. Okay, so there are Terraform, yes, Python, yes, GCP, Kubernetes, and containerization, yes. GCP is just like Azure, but it's Google Cloud Platform. So DevOps engineers are really what's the philosophy behind it? What's the logic behind it? That's the actual question. But what tools will be used? Yes, that would be the next part of it. I can explain that too. But I'll be putting a link there, and let's see who knows who did what kind of research, and in simpler words, do you really cover what is DevOps? Right? Because you need to. This is your next journey after your like cloud administrator. So this is important next journey that you cannot miss. And yes, this is this really covers a lot of it, but not everything. I need everything. A comprehensive graph, DevOps. Yes, this is a very helpful one. Okay, guys, let's carry on. And what I'm facing in my production environment as a cloud administrator, your ultimate journey should be cloud architect. Which who's architecting, who's telling the companies, hey, you need this, and that. So whatever I am getting there, we are also doing some projects. So I intend to add those projects here in my trainings as well. And once it's on the video, obviously you can always benefit from it. Anyway, so restrict non-admin users from creating tenants. Now you know that how critical and sensitive this is. And yes, it is off, which is good. But now you know the background of it and how to create tenants and what are those and what is B2C. So users can create security groups.
I think,
Yeah. Huh?
they shouldn't be allowed to create a security group.
Well, smaller companies, what happens is that sometimes there are so many requests from users from all departments in big companies, medium to large size companies, that they say that, hey, I want to create a group of, and it's important for business. I want to create a group of this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, and this guy. Now, in a big company, that could be lots and lots and lots of tickets, right? So that's why Microsoft said, hey, creating a group, no big deal. You're adding 5 or 6 specific users, maybe from outside of the company as well. Then you're creating that. So why don't you just give this delegation to end users as well? So yes, it's okay to let them create security groups. Security groups actually lets you gives you access to resources, remote resources. It's more like an email group you can allow. Security groups is kind of um, other thing. So we're gonna get into the groups and we're gonna be talking and doing labs on groups as well. But security groups, yes, you're right. No, I mean some companies keep it. Yes, you're right. Security groups lets you access other resources, lets you get added to some other SharePoint sites or some other resources that you can use after the group has been added. So, users creating security groups, no. Users creating email groups, yes, it's okay. This is not email group. This is purely security group, which becomes sensitive. Okay, so yes, I would go for no here. Guest user access and guest user access restrictions. Guest users, we invited one guest user, right? In last class. So guest users have limited access to properties and memberships of directory objects, which is a good thing. But outsiders, developers, there could be vendors, developers, and sometimes we need expertise of outside users. And they are much, even the cloud architects, they have much more knowledge than you have or I have. So guest users, let me explain one more thing here and what I'm facing nowadays, and what policies we had to change then. The guest users, suppose we want them to, the vendor needs to configure more difficult uh, and complicated configurations in our most business um, critical applications. Critical applications. So in that case, um, in that case, the guest account may not let this user do these tasks. In that case, create a regular user in Azure AD with proper application licensing and roles given to this kind of user. So if it's some kind of non-ID user, which is like you're in a construction company and some vendor needs to keep doing meetings with you, and he or she is on a project with you, an outsider vendor, right? So yes, it's a normal guest user because that's not an IT. Now this is IT. In fact, it's a cloud architect, right? Well, application developer. The developers always need more rights and privileges to do their tasks for you. Maybe they are here for 2 weeks only, maybe 6 months or 1 year. So then you have to create a regular user for those developers or cloud architects that are helping you out. You have to keep an eye on them, and yeah, you can enable auditing for them, security, everything. The thing
Excuse
is,
me.
a guest account is not good for developers or deep technical users. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Um, when you were creating an account for Mr. Reed, why we add a dot in between the name?
Oh yeah, dot is just for um, just to keep name in a organized way. So suppose Alan Reed is one word and it's first name and last name. So sometimes it's not easily readable, and there are thousands and thousands of names. So and you're go, quickly go through the list. It's not easy to understand the name. So you have to put something in between to know. Oh, this is the first name. This is the last name. So just to recognize them easily, uh, they always follow that. It's not compulsory. It's better and recommended to do this.
So
You
just
can
the
just put the
name
dot as
and
well.
no domain name.
So domain name is always there. Alan Reed had a at samosa.local is the local domain name of Alan Reed in the branch, and up here we connected the ready domain to Alan.read, right? So always there's a domain name there. It's called UPN or user principal name
But
UPN.
we, but we already bought the domain. We cannot join with that domain.
So Alan Reed was here, and here Alan Reed will get samosa.local because it's a local domain. But then Alan Reed was also synchronized here, right?
Yeah.
And in last classes. So Alan Reed got the mapping of the other domain, which is the GoDaddy domain. Same like GoDaddy domain, but we map it in a different way. Yes,
So
on the cloud is GoDaddy domain. Here it's the local
so we already we will map from the on-premises domain name.
domain. We will map if Alan Reed is in cloud. It's the GoDaddy domain exact that we will put for Alan Reed, and here it will be local domain samosa.local. We already did that. You can refer to previous videos and do the labs.
Okay. So but initially you the Alan when go to the when he is joining the first time, so he will you know you know join in the Azure directory.
Yes.
Okay.
You
What is
will
the current
always be
practice?
there. Well, as the user joins a company, his or her user account name is created here in local Active Directory, if there is a local Active Directory. And then if it's a hybrid environment, and majority of the companies will have hybrid environment, so yes, that username first will be created here, then it will be synced up there and mapped to the actual company domain here as well. So that's a regular procedure of every company.
Yeah, but the good practice should be you should log into the like on-premises first, because it
Yeah,
takes
it's
half
always
an hour to sync.
So when you create an account, obviously the user is given a laptop from the company, and the user logs in from the laptop with Windows 10 or 11. And the user's account is synced in the first few days, and then user is told that yes, you can log in from here and use all the applications that are in the cloud right now. So yeah, that's our standard procedure.
Okay.
NK. So let's go ahead. In fact, it's 12 o'clock, so let's take a break and then come back and explore some more features. And so I have not been doing all the diagrams here, so please do always remind me that, hey, put the diagrams in the slides as well, because they're helpful
One more question.
classes. Yeah.
When we joining the domain, can we change the name of PC at the same time, or
Yes, if we want to, yes, we can change the name of the PC at the same time as well.
is no problem?
Doesn't give any problem. If you want to change the name then at that time, yes, we can change it.
So the name of the domain and the name of the PC can change at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So Jamin says Office is installed. So guys, let's take our break and then continue with our on-premises. So we will be, after the break, we'll be checking how to connect. It is installed how to connect Outlook and Teams to online applications, if we are able to do that without any errors. And we're going to see if there are any errors. So we're going to do that step by step, best practices according to that for the break. For these messages, no message. So I'll just put the break on the class and take a break. Well, so it's 12:10, 12:20, 12:30. All right, let's meet at 12:30, muting and pausing. All right, guys. Okay, so recording has resumed, and let's get going with the women's machine. And yeah, I'll be okay. If I just check my MSTSC on my laptop and Armor Zotac Z box and connect to this guy. So I have a mini PC where I was supposed to create the domain controller, and okay, I'll be connecting to that this weekend and setting up the whole lab. So let's go back to we have installed it. So this was done, and the rest of to install Outlook client app. Actually, this is also done, but must be connected is not done. So install is okay. Let's go. So let's connect to Jamin's machine and try to quickly go and connect with. Right. So we're connected to Jamin's machine here, and so now the wallpaper is showing something different. That's mucho amazing. Senor. And then read domain account. We're trying to log in. It's capital P, password 1. So we're logged in. Once we are done with that, you're all set. The Office 365 has been installed, downloaded and installed. So that's great. Let's click close button here, and we can go to Outlook. We can just search we can type Outlook, look out for Outlook. So there's Outlook here, and we're gonna we can just try to open it first. So there's all the we click the open button, and then we will be seeing that. So Outlook is trying to connect now and searching for accounts. We're already logged in from admin account in the browser from Microsoft 365. We're logged in from Alan Reed's account in the Windows. So this Alan Reed is a local admin account, right? Now we have to check first one thing here, and that is skip for now. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. So here, first thing we're gonna check here is what? We're gonna check if Alan Reed has a license. Okay, let's keep it here. And let's go to Microsoft 365 and check that Alan.read. We assign this user a license for Enterprise 5, which has a license for, I think, 76 applications. So we're going to go for Admin Center in, Microsoft 365, where get the users, there are the users, active users, and then read is the third one. Once we go there, we check that is this user, this user is unlicensed. You need to give a license, otherwise, obviously, you cannot connect to Outlook and Teams. We go to license and apps, and there, yes, we got 6 licenses left, which is good. So now we can give that license. So this means 62 applications this user can use, which is good. So let's click Save Changes, and location is Canada. So let's correct the location as well. And all right, now we're good. Thank you. And once this is done, now we're good to connect the Outlook of Alan Reed. But Jimin, you have to check what is the domain of Alan Reed here in Microsoft 365. Yes, this one. So you have to copy this whole username, because we synchronize this user from on-premises local Active Directory. So the password will be the same as we checked it from logging into the Windows 11. So that password was synchronized here. So the password is still for this user as well. The password one. So good. We just need the domain name. We know the password already. Okay, so let's copy that, and then let's try. So it will not be connected as samosa.local. It will be connected as address to get started. So it's searching for that, but we're not going to there's an option, advanced options below, and then there is, let me set up account manually. Let's click that, which is this. Then we connect. So manually we have to do that, otherwise it's automatically detecting the locally logged in user domain. But we say that, hey, we don't have Exchange application deployed in our branch, Toronto branch. So that's why we're connecting to the cloud. In the cloud, this same user's domain is different. So Microsoft 365, this is selected already. So now one day, Monday or Sunday, and one. And make sure that you are creating all this environment at home, and do try this at home, as I say. And we know the password, so it's capital P, password 1. And since we are connected to internet, so it says you have 14 days until this is required. So yes, it is saying that you have to configure multi-factor authentication. So this is a good time to configure it now. Why? Because saying on the same cell phone you can have multiple MFA configured as well. And second thing, it's something compulsory. It should not be an option in any organization because there's so many attacks happening right now. So let's click next and actually configure the MFA here for this user as well. So this is what you need to do then in your production environment for all the users. They're connecting to their online applications while logging in from their laptops provided by the company, which are joined to the domain, full domain. So
This, excuse me, this, Alan Reed client is on premises now and doing all this stuff.
So on-premises account, we logged in from Windows 11. But in order to connect to cloud application, we are using that same account's cloud version. Because we synchronized it from on-premises to cloud. So that same account in cloud we're using to access cloud applications. Yeah, we can use you want to use a different authenticator app. Oh, sorry, it doesn't offer you the different method. Okay. Well, there's a skip button. We can skip that. And otherwise, yeah, if it doesn't let you skip, then we can
Download.
go for
We have the app.
authenticator app in your cell phone. You have it? Okay.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. So authenticator app in your cell phone, and then
Just scanning a QR code.
yeah. So in the application, when you go there, so it asks for scanning QR code. So from the app, it picks up that code from cell phone. And if the code is picked up from my app, then it says, yeah, you're good. The app, it says good, and then we can click next here as well.
Yeah, I saw on my phone. It's connected.
Excuse me. And let's try it out. Approve the notification we are sending to your app by entering the number shown below. Okay, so in the app, you have to type this number.
Excuse me, please. I have a question.
Yeah.
When we give license to Alan Reed, now
Yeah.
I observed in front of in the cloud environment we have Microsoft 365 E5 developer without Windows and audio in the bracket. So what does that word in the bracket means? Without Windows and audio. So does it mean when it's set up, the user will not have access to audio on his window, or what does it mean?
Without Windows and audio. So yeah, it's better to go back there and check it out. But once, yeah, he's done. I think Jimin is done. So
Yeah. Next.
then we can look at that screen because it should still be there now. Okay. So you can click done here and here it says your app is good. And yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep it here. And let's switch to where we give the license. So here, where did the license is an app?
Yeah.
And yeah, without Windows and audio conferencing. So Microsoft has introduced Windows 365, which can be created in the cloud, and and then you can load it from anywhere. And the thing is that you don't have to install Windows in your laptop. Suppose you have just basic, maybe even if you have Linux, but you want to have a cloud-based Windows. So that licensing is not included in E5. You have to purchase a separate licensing. Video conferencing is that from Teams, if you want to call some PSTN numbers or cell phone, you can use the actual telecom towers to connect to some cell phone. Then audio conferencing licensing has to be purchased. So they're saying that in E562 apps, these two features are not available, and we need to separately purchase those features. So, and those are expensive features actually. So yeah, makes sense that they're not available in the E5. The E5 itself is also expensive, but it's also already offering 62 apps anyway. Okay, guys. So yeah, thank you, Jamin, and let's switch to the Windows. And yeah, so here we were did the MFA as well. And now it says stay signed into all your apps. Windows will remember your accounts and automatically sign you into your apps and websites on this device. It will reduce the number of times. Yeah, which is okay. So let's just press OK. Yeah, please remember which apps I sign in here in my Microsoft 365. It says hold on while we register the device with your company and apply policy. So Azure is trying to know, oh, this device is you trying to use my Outlook. Oh, okay. Let me register this device then. So if it is successful, then we're gonna also confirm from Azure Active Directory and Alan Reed's account. This device name client01 should be showing there in Alan Reed's devices area in Azure Active Directory. It says you're all set. Just click done. Guys, it's a must thing to have at least 2 client machines in your laptop and do all this again. It's very important for you to set up all this because you're going to face that in your job environment when you're giving technical support. Download for the past. Yeah, next. It is also so there's a user cached exchange mode to download email to Outlook data is showing as a pop-up message, which is good. So cache mode just means that you can cache some of the emails. Cache, C-A-C-H-E, cache means locally saving something to retrieve faster. Cache means that, right? So they're just saying that, hey, some majority 3 months worth of emails we're going to download in your laptop as well in the Outlook file, .ost file. Even if Outlook is offline, you will be able to see at least those 3 months worth of emails. So that can be increased to 1 year or whatever time. But yeah, the default setting is okay. Yeah, all. Okay, yeah. So 1 year, 2 year, all. That's pretty good. You can go up to all emails that have been received and downloaded. Even if you're not connected to internet, you can still at least see those ones. Anyway, cache mode is always helpful. It's okay. But many administrators actually prefer non-cache mode, where if you uncheck, so whenever you're connected to internet, only then you can see any email. Otherwise, if you're not connected to the internet or your Exchange server in Azure somehow has some kind of outage, it's down, then you cannot see any email. You have to stay connected live to see any email in it. So cache is always good. So let's keep it and click next. And yeah, mail account successfully added. Done. Okay.
Should I unclick?
Set up. Oh, no, not set up on phone. We don't need that. Like we will always do that later. But we will be doing that. Load profile. Let's see. So connecting basically in a production environment, you will be connecting the client with MS Office and with email, with printers, any other application they have. So this is kind of task that all have to go through. Okay, there you go. So we got into our email. Now we just need to check the mail flow as well. mail flow, which means can we send and receive email? So what you can do is, Jimin, you can send email to your whichever, if you have Gmail or Outlook, and then on the other
Sorry,
screen when
sir.
you do receive that, then you can send it to reply back here. We will check the
Why
mail
is
flow
this
as well.
not activating?
Right, so Outlook hasn't been activated to keep using Outlook without interruption. Activate. Okay, click activate. Yeah, it needs to confirm if you have the license or not. Let's click activate. That's yeah. Okay, it makes sense. You can see at the bottom that it says connected to Microsoft Exchange. Yeah, and this folder is up to date. You can still check the mail
No,
flow, but oh,
okay,
yeah,
it's
now
going.
it's activated. Good, good, good. Very good, very good. Yeah, now we can go for new email and try to send it to internet. That's what you do first. That's what we do first. So if you have a Gmail somewhere or something, so just type that in the two, and then yep, and gmail.com, then test, and that's it. Test I or whatever. Yeah. And in the body as well, test, and that's it. Right, yeah. This is. And let's click send. Hopefully it doesn't give you error and the mail flow is there. Excuse me. So it should be in the sent items and it should not be in the drafts folder.
Yeah,
So that would tell us that, yeah, it's working fine from here. It's not in drafts, but it is in sent items.
I can check the email.
Okay. Yeah. This you can, it's your privacy. So you can take that, open that email in the other screen. Do you have another screen? Cell phone?
Yeah, yes, I got the email.
Okay. And then from there, without showing, you can just reply back to this. So it will come back here and we will know that it's a outgoing is working. Outgoing mail flow is working. Incoming mail flow we have to check and then we're good.
Sorry, please. When does Exchange Server come in?
When does Exchange Server? So after this Azure Active Directory, we're starting Exchange Server.
Okay, because I was just wondering which server coordinates all the mails in
Well,
and out.
yeah, it's just directly connected to the Azure, and then because he has a license for Outlook, so in Exchange, there's a mailbox already created. As soon as the license was picked, mailbox was created automatically for this user, and that mailbox is downloaded here. So yeah, but
I got
when we go to Exchange course, we're gonna go in detail and we're gonna do a lot of this again. Okay, that's good. So from Gmail, so mail flow, incoming and outgoing email is working fine, which is very good to know. We can just quickly figure Teams as well, and then we can go ahead with the rest of the features of Azure Active Directory. Yeah, we can minimize this. But guys, you have to enable it for another 902 with another random user, and you have to follow all the procedures. Your client 1 and 2 should be configured exactly like we're configuring client 1 here. So, and try to create those screenshots in MS Word and send to me. All right, so Teams, yeah, now we're going to click Teams and we're going to configure that. So without Teams, obviously, we can't really survive. We are in touch with any client right away or any employee right away. Let's click open Microsoft Teams and we can do any conferences, one-to-one chat, one-to-one video chat with any of the other employees who have the Teams account. So now Teams will also be authenticating from cloud, and the Teams admin center is also there. While it is opening, Jimin, can you switch to Microsoft 365 and just open really? So you have to go to admin center, and yeah, here show all on the left side. On the left side, yeah, there you go, and then go down Teams. There's a Teams. Let's click that, and Teams admin center will open. That's how it looks like, but we're going to go in detail later, obviously. But the Teams admin center really create or this is what the application to which the Teams client that we are installing or configuring there will be connecting to. So this is how it looks like, but we're going to go in detail with the features later. But this is the Team Admin Center. Let's thank you for showing that, and let's go back to our Windows 11 just to configure the client and go ahead. So it says sign in, and we know now the drill. We have the license already for all the applications, so we'll just go with that domain. Let's click sign in, and then the Microsoft 365 user Alan Reed that domain. Teams and Outlook are the most crucial communication tools that we always, when we're connected to Office, so we're connected with these two always. In my cell phone also, my Teams and Outlook, I have to stay connected there. So if I'm on the move, yeah, that's it. So we put the Microsoft 365. You can sign in with a work or school account, use your personal account instead. Kidding. Cannot read that. So this, it's not case sensitive. And the domain spellings are correct?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
correct. This one also. That's the one.
Yeah. CA. You can sign in here with a work or school account. I think this is the local Teams. Let's go for the MS Office Teams.
Okay.
You know, there are two versions of Teams as well. Let's search for Teams. Maybe that's the only one you have, or you go for Teams. Yeah, that's the only one you have. Let's click that. Or was it different? Yeah, it's the same. Welcome to Teams.
Maybe
We're
get work or
Microsoft
school.
Teams Work or School. Yes, this one. Click that. Oh, it's download again. Although we did download, but let's see.
Let's close this one.
No. So we have to connect to work or school one. Although we did install it from the same Microsoft 365, but work or school is not supported there, which is weird. And we should be connected. If this device is, yeah. So we can only download Team app. Yeah, that is good as well. Yeah. For desktop, should not be a big one.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yep. Okay, yeah, that's just deployment of teams and data.
There's two kind of teams released.
Rolling post. From within the VMware workstation, the speed is always slow. And that's weird that they didn't let us log in for work or school.
Can we sign in like on the web version of Team to check
On
the web version?
red version? What red
Yeah,
version?
yeah, like on the web.
Oh, on
Like
the
not
web.
locally.
Yeah, we can log in from. That's a very good idea. Let's go to Microsoft 365. On the left side, there's this. It's already open. Yeah. And the 9 dots, do you see on the top? Yeah, so there you go. The Teams is already there on the left side.
I have to log in with the Alan Reed account, right? Because this is the main
Oh,
account.
that is, yeah, JP. So you have to log in from Alan Reed then. If you want to use the web version of that instead of, it's taking time downloading, so then we can just sign out and sign in from Alan Reed's web version and simply open the web team. Just like Outlook for web also can be opened from here. Outlook for Teams for web can also be opened from here. Okay, so that's good. Now, yeah, so at least just to log in, we want to Zoom, but other than that, we can then move on to Azure Active Directory. And yeah, there you go. So that's a good idea. And also, while you're opening this, when it is open, then we can go and show the Outlook for web as well.
Sure.
So here we log in on a web.
This is the web version of Teams.
Okay.
There's a desktop version, there's a web version. Desktop is taking time, so at least just to check that we're logging in from Teams, we're doing this. Oh man, wow, it's like forever. But within remote session, it's like that. Okay, finally we're business. So, Teams, you can click chat on the left side. I think it's still loading, or it's loaded. Yeah. Yeah, it's still loading. So whenever it loads, then yeah, this is the team client that every employee must have and should be running for the employee. And so Outlook and Teams both are okay. Yeah, let it open, and yeah, it's gonna take its time. So let
Open Outlook web version. Oh, okay. So
oh, there you go. So yeah, any other user who has Teams can always chat with this user. If you want to select in the search, go in the search and type the admin account, because that also has a license. So if you type admin account and that admin account is logged in from somewhere, yeah, there you go. So that admin account shows here. And if that guy is also logged into Teams, so when you select it and say hi, then yeah, you can just do that. So anyway, this Teams, and this is like a chat, any other chat application, but it's for Office and it's really important and critical. So we deployed it, we're good. And thank you for this. So guys, it's recorded. You must have those two, client 1 and client 2, configured the same way before the next class. And do show a screenshot, everyone, that you have done this lab, where Outlook, the client 2 is showing, and Outlook and Teams are on client 1 opened, and Outlook and Teams are open on client 2 with the other user, just like Alan read some other user. Okay, guys. So let's get back. Thank you, Jimin, for this. And I will be switching to now my screen. And we have configured a client. We have joined it to domain. We have done a lot of that. What we wanted to do, we wanted to have an active client there. So whenever we put a policy there, that policy should be yeah, so that process should be implemented. So yeah, this is all done now, and well, we can say that now we have a working environment, hybrid environment. So the user who is logged in from local Windows 10, 11, and the user Alan Reed here got authenticated from local Active Directory, also got authenticated from Azure Active Directory to connect to app like Outlook and Teams, right? So in order to connect to Outlook and Teams, you have to be logged into this Azure Active Directory and authenticated from there. Then it will let you connect to Outlook and Teams. So the local user, if there were print server, if there were web server, SQL server, and application servers, so the user would be still connected to local applications by authenticating from local Active Directory. And for cloud applications, the user has to be authenticated from cloud Active Directory, right? So I'm going to go back here and yeah, here. And now we were talking about tenant, then we went a bit more in depth into tenant. We created some tenants there. Then, but you can realize that so many options that a company would not want otherwise to be in that state where they are. By default, they're there. So you have to go through all those options and then reason with yourself and try to know from experience and get the approval from follow the company compliance policy that this option should be enabled or not. So I explained about this guest users. Yes, for non-technical users, you can create this is perfect guest account. For technical users, then guest accounts do not really fulfill all the all the requirements. Guest users have the same access as members. Okay. So if you put this setting by default, so any guest user who's not supposed to have all the privileges as a regular user also get it. So better keep it to this one. And if there's a very technical user as a vendor connecting there, so then you can create a regular account for that user. But you put in the regular account, this user is a vendor, it's not a company employee. Okay. Even more restrictive. This is most restrictive. This is most inclusive. They say here, this is access is restricted to properties and memberships of their own directory. They can't see their users' information as well if they're allowed to. So this is more restrictive, but the middle one is always good. Administration portal, restrict access to Azure AD administration portal. So if I turn it on, then well, end users should not be seeing Active Directory, right? End users are supposed to see applications, not Active Directory. So end users should be seeing these apps. At Outlook, they log in and they see Outlook, Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. They should not be coming here to the Active Directory. So that's why this option is good. But when it comes to admins, obviously admins have to connect. So this is for end users. So use this switch to prevent users from configuring the resources that they own from the Azure Active Directory administration portal. This is not a security measure. No, that non-administrative browse the Azure administration portal, yes, restricts. So obviously we need to restrict that. Other than we, the admins, no one else should be connecting to the browser to the Active Directory. And then allow us to connect their work or school account with LinkedIn. Yeah, this is a good idea. In fact, in my company, yes, our accounts are connected to LinkedIn as well. So within the company, anyone wants to know, any employee wants to know other employees' LinkedIn account. So that is also supported, and that is good. So that's it. So show keep user signed in. So show keep user signed in. Now this is just an option that if a user is signed in, just show it to the admins as well. The user is still signed in. So this is good for reporting for admin, right? External users. This is also very important setting here. Manage external collaboration settings. So your users will be collaborating from cloud to outside users. So suppose they are vendors. Suppose they are contractors, and they are outside of your company. So they are connecting from Gmail or Hotmail, and so your users, can they invite anyone they want? Do they need permission from the boss, at least the manager, that hey, can I invite this guy? Or they cannot invite anyone from outside, and they can request the administrators hey, admin, can you send an invite to this guy, to that guy, this guy, that guy, that guy? So this is that setting. And yes, if end users are just open to invite anyone, that could pose a security risk as well, that they don't know who are they inviting and which account they're using. Administrators, when they're inviting, they just send a guest invitation. The user follows the procedure. End users might send an invite, and the vendor trying to connect ask certain questions. Hey, this is showing me this is showing me that. So end users are not technical people. They might not be able to troubleshoot as well. So they will ultimately have to contact you anyway. And so why don't you just do it for them? If we go back here, so this is manage external collaboration settings. So I'm just going to click that. And it says here, how much more powers are you giving to the guest users? So guest users are already outsiders. Guest users have limited access to properties. This was a setting already back there we saw. But other than that, guest invite settings. Anyone in the organization can invite guest users, including guests. Wow. Are you kidding me? Including guests and non-admins, most inclusive. So not only that any user in your organization, any employee can invite anyone from outside, but even those which were invited as guests, they are already guests and they can also invite. This is already a big no. You can see that if you haven't gone through the default settings of your whole Azure environment, there are some default options there that are already not safe. They are kind of a threat later. So Microsoft wants to know that are you knowledgeable enough to change those settings? They have put the whole Active Directory to basic settings wherever it's not very critical, but wherever it's critical, they have taken action and put some more stern security. But many of the options are unacceptable. So we have to know where those options are and why are they set like that. And obviously, these are default settings, factory default, we can say. You need to switch away from at least this one that, hey, guest can invite guest. And employees, non-admins can invite guests. No way. Well, maybe a big company, you can give that access to the secretary of the department. He or she can invite. And then give her training in terms of security measures taken. But in a small company, admins should be inviting. Well, that's at least the rule of my company. So member users and users assigned to specific admin roles can invite guest users, including guests with member permissions. Or only users assigned to specific admin roles can invite guests. So this is more safer. Suppose there's a user who is a DBA, database administrator. Suppose there's a user who is billing administrator. Now, maybe they're billing administrators, but they are simply accountants. They're not privileged IT technical users. So this seems to be the best option. No one in the organization can invite guest users, including admins, or this is at least what we have implemented in our company. Up to you. You want other users to have the rights to invite outsiders. It's up to the company compliance policy. Some users are tech savvy. You know that particular user is he or she knows about inviting and then telling the user how to follow the invitation and is a bit more technical. So you can do that, delegate. Otherwise, company compliance policy says no way. The admins invite outsiders. So the end users will just put a ticket there. You just resolve the ticket by inviting. That's it. Okay. Enable guest self-service sign up via user flows. Now, user flows is basically flows. Flow is a application that works automatically. If I go for Power Automate here, I think it's so LinkedIn data sharing and consent. Yeah, clicked it. So if I go for Power Automate, make dot flow or flow.microsoft.com. It's like that. So okay, I'll just go for flow dot Microsoft. Yeah, there it is. So Power Automate, it still is powerautomate.console.com. So what it does is that it lets you log in. I think E5 has a license for Power Automate as well. It's going to detect that. And this application is pretty cool if you want to automate a process where multiple applications are involved. So, United States, no, Canada, Pokemon, give me the country. Okay, Canada, it's okay. Then no, it's not okay. And there you go. Or do you not go? Or go? So yeah, this is flow. Whenever you talk about flow, so flows are that three applications working together, or four applications working together, or five applications working together. So automatically follow up on a message. If somebody put a Teams message there, then maybe put it to wait in MS Office, or forward emails to a channel. So Outlook and Teams are working together. These are two separate applications, but you can automate that. If such and such email comes, send it, forward it to this Teams account. That is called overall flow. I just wanted to show you what is flow. So whenever this comes to mind, then you can know that it's flow. Okay, so James says it's in the apps power out. Ouch. Yeah, now I saw that. Thank you. So here, the thing is, self-service user flow. It's on no. We never tested it as well. We don't need some automated flow unless user signs in and is supposed to be taken to 3 or 4 applications, and automatically the user is joined to those applications. So yeah, you can put some automation there. As soon as user signs in, guest user, so should be 3 or 4 applications should come into action and do this and that, and then do this and that. So yeah, you can connect that if you want. So here, external user leave settings allow external users to remove themselves from your organization. So this is good, and normally they don't do that. So I have to connect, or we have to do cleanup every 6 months. There are so many vendors that keep connecting to the company, and we have to go and check that who is done with the task, and they just forget it and they don't remove it. And it's our responsibility to then remove those accounts from Active Directory, or disable them at least, right? So, but if they want, they can remove it as well. Then there's collaboration restrictions, allow invitations to be sent to any domain. Well, that is okay. So suppose sometimes vendors have, they are belonging to different domains, or maybe they're different companies. All companies are different domains, so it's always okay to have any domain invited. Deny invitations to the specified domains. Suppose you have a rival company, you don't want any one of your employees to send invitations to specific rival company domains, so you can add them here. All invitations only to specified domains. So if you go for deny invitations, then you can put the domains here, target domains, and if the invitation is sent to those domains, it will be denied while you're about to send, or you click the send button. It will say, hey, your company compliance policy says that you cannot send invitation to this particular domain if you put any domain here. So our invitation, this is the best one. But here we did make a change. So yes, guest invite settings this is the best one. Don't let users invite. Go for that. But yes, there are other options, so many of them. So obviously different companies have different preferences. Okay, so this is the only change on this page, and I'm going to click save. And so manage external collaboration, you must visit that if you are already managing your Azure Active Directory environment in your company. And there is user features. So manage user feature settings. If we click that, so this is just users can use preview features. So any upcoming features from Microsoft, you want the users to test those. Users should be doing their work. They're not here for testing, right? We have QA or quality testing, quality assurance guys. If we want the app, so we have specific people to test those updates. Users are not supposed to be doing that. Users can access my stuff Guys, I haven't even used that myself. So. Anyway, yes, administrators can access my stuff, but my stuff is a feature for like all the employees here. But I'm just going to enable that, and haven't used it even in my environment. So there are so many features that sometimes you don't get to use. There's no reason for that. So anyway, but I'm just still clicking it all and save. Okay, so here, if I go back, so we have gone through user settings here, but you can see that some of the important settings are there in these options. While we see that these options, maybe they're not important. But every section is important. You have to go and visit every section and check every option inside the section. So bulk operation results. I haven't saved whatever I saved there, so I'll click that save button here. I think I changed some options here as well. So and bulk operation results. So we did do some bulk operations here. So it's an audit report for those bulk operations, which is a good thing. It's for record that somebody did some bulk operations. So bulk is just do some operations on large scale. Sandeep says in the chat, are these settings restrictions are configured as tenant based, or it could be implemented from topmost and inherited to no tenant to tenant? Yeah, it's the same thing that we talked about before. It's total separation of administration. So one tenant implements that, another tenant you have to manually implement that again. So it doesn't go, and there's no hierarchy. It's a total separation of administration. So dev tenant is a totally separate neighbor, independent neighbor of the first one, and yeah, so that's how it is.
Okay. Thanks.
And yeah, so for this in chat, tenant based, yes. So they are tenant based. Exactly, they are tenant based. So you did something here. You want to do it on the other tenant, go there, manually do that on the other tenant as well. It's total separation of administration implemented across tenants. Okay, so if we go back to, so here, the bulk option is done, and yeah, it's tenant based, and then yes, you can create a support ticket here as well. If I click this new support request, so then it takes you to the problem description, recommended solution, additional details, review plus create. Microsoft has an SLA or service level agreement of supporting you within 4 hours if you have purchased that support. But you can explain the whole issue and then they do all back real fast for obviously companies that have commercially there. So the support is very good. If the problem is not complicated. In fact, if any one of you knows, Microsoft is actually right now in trouble. Like we wanted to turn off Microsoft feed, and somehow we're not able to. Yeah, this one feed. What is this? So this Microsoft feed actually tells us the activities of all our employees in Microsoft Office. And now, the accountant was opening a document. Which document was open? That accountant has opened that document. We are all part of one security group as well in the company. So whoever's connected in a security group with each other can see each other's document opened. Now which document opened? So that kind of activity is really, really bad. No, not everyone is supposed to know what any other person is doing. So when I realized that it's showing actually too much information, actually my director realized that and she said that, hey, block it ASAP. Then I opened a ticket with the partner that we have, Microsoft partner, and they could not resolve it. Then they opened with Microsoft, and Microsoft is still scratching their head and struggling how to disable this feed across organization, or at least we didn't get the good support now. But this is a issue here. that feed is not disabled, and you can see others. Now, I had opened some documents that I was not supposed to open in company laptop at least, and without realizing that on the feed, others are watching what documents I'm opening. So one document was called resume. So while I'm saying, "Oh, I'm enjoying this company is so good," I'm opening the resume document. Seriously. So that is coming in the feed as well. So that's like really bad. Now, I don't do that. Okay, so not at least in this machine, the office machine at least. In the office machine, that's what I said. So here, now, you can open a ticket here and then good luck. So yeah, so for this in the chat, so there is a way to disable feed that is not working. So if you Google it, how to disable feed, it tells you where to go and what to do, and you do that, and it's not working. It's still showing the feed, and that's not good. So some personal documents are always there with users, and the title of the document at least shows there. So already this is information that you're not supposed to be seeing for users, right? So yeah, but that's really ridiculous. And Microsoft will come up with this because so many concerns were raised about privacy. But for now, they haven't really given us a solution. NK. So, okay, so that's one thing. I'm just going to go back here to the users, and in the users, these are all the settings that for all users. If I click all users, it's just showing all users. We've gone through all this as well. Now, deleted users. If we go there, so in deleted users, we can keep this for 30 days. Deleted user, and then we can remove that, restore that user. Password reset. This is where these settings only apply to end users in your organization. Admins are always enabled for self-service password reset. SPR, self-service password reset, SSPR. So this is something that should be enabled. If you're on this page right now and it's not enabled, go ahead and enable that. It's already enabled for administrators. And are required to use two-factor authentication. Yeah. So authentication methods, we have already, I think, talked about that. But when users are resetting their password, they can just use either email to reset password or mobile phone. If you click two, then they have to use both to reset their password. Click once, keep one. Anyone can use to reset password. Registration, I think I've gone through that already. So user settings, yeah, done. So then comes the groups. And in groups, you get to create a lot of groups there. Some groups are already created there. But, excuse me, we're going to create two groups. You can see the group type here already, security, Microsoft 365. So security group is used when you want a user to be added to some application. So user wants to use any application here, a SharePoint site here. So you have to add the name of the user in the permissions area of this application or SharePoint site, and then the user can use the application, right? Suppose it's 10,000 users who want to use a certain application or a certain website in a big company. So then you cannot just start adding one user, second user, third user, fourth user, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10,000. Seriously? So it will take you weeks to add one by one. So you may have created a security group for those users. Suppose they are from different departments, but when they join, always there's a central security group like company excuse me, company employees or company users. So whenever a new guy is hired, he or she is added to one central group. where all the company users are added as well because of the announcements need to be given. And they are also added to departmental groups, right? So whichever department they were joining, those department groups as well. But those users will always be added to one or two common groups as well. Those who weren't hired. So everyone's part of certain one's group. So you can add the whole group to the permission section of the application. So all the members of that group will have access to this application. So instead of adding 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 by 1, so you can add just the whole group, and they will all the members of the group will get access to this application. So that's a benefit of a security group. ONK. So security group. But what about the M365 group? M365 group says that yes, not only that you will be grouped together as a security group, but it's a collaboration group. Excuse me. It's a collaboration group. M365 is, whenever you see that group, you should always remember one word: collaboration. What that means is, and we're going to be exploring more in Office 360 in Exchange Server course as well, collaboration. So it means that when you create a M365 group, a SharePoint site get created there automatically for you. Our teams get created for you automatically as well. And the group email group already is there, so you can email each other. That same group could be a security group as well. Security group as well. So not only that, members of this group, so this group can be added to different applications. But this group members are automatically added to a SharePoint site where they can upload documents. They're automatically added to a team where they can do meetings and conferences with each other. It's already email group. They can email each other. And it's already a security group, or you can make it a security group. So you can add this to the resources so the members of the group can have access to those applications. So collaboration means that you don't have to separately create a site for them if you wanted to. It already is created when you create this group. You don't have to separately create a team. You don't have to separately create a security group. So that's collaboration, and it makes life easier when you want to add the same group of people to different applications as well. So it says that, okay, I'm already doing that for me. Just an ease of use. But if we go back here, so there's a new group here. I'm going to click the new group, and then the security group, and then there's Microsoft 365 group. So group type here, it says security groups are used to give group members access to applications, resources, and assign licenses. Group members can be users, devices. You can even create a group of machines, devices, and service principles. So these are, security principles that can be used for any application. It's just used for authentication, the group, and then you can do what you want to do. And other groups. So Microsoft 365 groups are used for collaboration. That's the word. Giving members access to a shared mailbox, calendar. Calendar is always in the mailbox, right? Files, SharePoint files, full SharePoint site as well, files in OneDrive as well, SharePoint site, and so on. Group members can only be users. So Microsoft 365 you cannot create for devices. It's only for users. A security group you can create for users, devices, service principals as well. So we can select just the security, and then suppose it's marketing department. Excuse me. And then group description, you can just put whatever you want. And then do you want to assign any higher privileges to the whole group? Then you press yes here. You want to do that. Because if you do this, then this option comes. Roles. If I click no, roles is gone. Yes, roles is here. What are roles? I click this, and these are all much higher privileged roles that you have to think again before you assign it to anyone. That gives much higher privileges, right? So be careful to assign this role. So do you want to assign a role to the whole group that you're about to create? So for now it's no. If it is yes, then it's pretty easy, right? You just keep yes and that's it. Then assign whatever roles you want. I click no here. When you click no, it's a simple security group, and it says assign dynamic user, dynamic device. So assign is just a simple security group. Who's a member of this group can be, if this group is added to any application, all the members of this group get access to that application. So it's simple, right? But dynamic user, we're going to be going there as we do the lab then. So dynamic user is just, if you have thousands and thousands of users, if that's a scenario in a large company, then you use this dynamic user.
Excuse me. Assuming in an organization where you have say you have a 30 end user support, this new group, the one you are creating now, this security group, is it an appropriate group for the end user support?
User support, well, if you say that it's which one is the proper security group for end user support, so better is the security, but it depends on what the desktop support guys need to do. Do they need to create teams as well? Yes, we do. So more probably this would be better for desktop support teams. That Microsoft 365 is good because you create teams as well. You have a SharePoint site as well. But some companies just go for simple security group, and if they have to create any other, they then manually create separately. So it depends on company to company and what their preferences are. You want multiple applications ready for desktop support teams, or just want just one security group. So it's more preference than already something available for desktop support. I hope that's the answer to the question. So here, security. So I'm going to go for security first and assign first. That's the simplest one. I'm going to go for owners. You have to select some kind of owner, right? So I'll go for administrator or the locally logged in user, me. So I'm the owner, suppose, and select. Then I'm going to go for no members. So yeah, members. I'll just add some random members here from anywhere. So Adele, Alex, select. Yep, 2 users added there. And once they're added here, so the user marketing department is not appearing here. So refresh. Yeah, there it is. So marketing department has security. If I go inside the group, you can see there are a lot of stuff, but you can see here, owner is 1, 0 devices here, and members are, hey, this is the members, right? So yeah, 2 members are there. And roles and administrators, this is what we did not select before, so that's why it's not going to appear here. Administrative units, it's another feature that we will be checking, but it just gives you a scope that, hey, you can only work in Canada region. Suppose you have US region and Canada region. So it gives you a scope that from where to where you can work. And group membership, is this group part of another group? Maybe marketing department is added to another group called insurance applications users group. So suppose all the marketing department users are supposed to be in another group as well. So you can add this group to another group as well. Application. So do you want to add this group? Which application this group is added to? Okay, an example of that would be if I keep this here and I'm going to right click and make a duplicate of this, right? Duplicate tab. This time I'm going to then go to the applications area of the Azure. What I'm going to try to do is I'll try to go for, yeah, these are the applications, right? In Azure Active Directory and entra.microsoft.com, there's applications, right? I go to enterprise applications here. And if I go to all applications, there is no application right now available. Well, this is an application topic, and I just wanted to show you that how you can add groups there. So if I go to new application, I'm going to add some simple application quickly. It doesn't actually add that application. You must have a license still for whatever application you're adding here. I'll quickly go for some application just to show that some easy applications. So, okay, Adobe Identity Management or Atlassian Cloud or AWS Box, Cisco AnyConnect. So WebEx, okay, it's here as well. We're using that right now, right? So anyway, Cisco WebEx, any other application you can add here. I'm just going to click that and click create. Why these applications are here, and when we click add, what exactly we're supposed to do. Well, when the application topic comes, then I should be saying that. But I'm adding some application, and here it shows you this. Whatever application you add here, later we're going to talk about applications as well. So users and groups does show here, obviously. Why would otherwise you an application? Obviously, your users will be using that. So if I go to users and group, then there's an add users and group, simple, straightforward, right? Then if it allows you to add a group, so if I go there, sometimes it allows you to add only Microsoft 365 groups. Sometimes it allows you to add only security groups. So if I go for Mark, and there's a marketing department. So suppose there were 20, 30, 80 users, and they all wanted to use this application. Suppose it was some marketing related application. So that's how we can use the group to do it instead of adding one user, second user, third user. So that's a security group usage. That's how you can add a security group anywhere, and all the members get that access now, instead of adding one by one. If I go back here, so applications, licenses. So obviously, if you want to assign some license to the whole group, all the users will get that. And so Microsoft 365 E5 developer without Windows audio and conferencing. So if you select that, obviously all the applications will be given to all the users. So suppose there were 200 users there, make sure you have purchased 200 licenses. Otherwise, you can't just give it to a group and expect that every user should have it. You must have that number of licenses available, purchased somewhere, right? Somewhere where we showed before. Okay, so Azure role assignments, and that is again, we can't give, we can assign a role to this, roles and administrators. We already click no to that. Privileged identity management, this is another interesting governance related topic that we will be enabling. But it says enable Azure AD PIM for this group. AD privileged identity management. If you have privileges, if your identity has privileges, what is identity? Your username. If your user has privileges, then we're going to manage them, and we're going to check that. Do you really need those privileges? How long will you keep those privileges? And we're going to have a review on your privileges every 6 months or 1 year. You want to configure that, you do that. And maybe we can not renew. Hey, this user was doing that project. The project is done. Now we're not giving privileges to this user anymore. So you can manage those higher privileges properly here with PIM, privileged identity management. So that's a separate topic. Obviously, we're going to be talking about access review. Very, very good feature. This is also a governance feature. You want to review this group members every 6 months or 1 year, maybe. Hey, after 6 months, you see marketing department. Oh, X is there, one is there, but they have left the company. Why are they still here? The disabled accounts are still added to this group. Okay, remove. Or this user was there in marketing department, but this user has changed to another department. So why is this user still a member of this group? He or she is seeing all our communications. So you can access review and make the managers go through the list of users there, right? logs, and yeah, that who logged in at what time to this group, and bulk operations. So all the bulk. So this is pretty simple and straightforward, but there's so many features for a group as well. If we go back again, then there is new group here, and if I create a quick Microsoft 365, although security group, we need to cover dynamic user, but I need to explain it in more detail, and we don't have that kind of time left. It's going to go way further than that. So 146 is there. I need to explain the whole idea behind, but I can create quickly a Microsoft 365 group as well, just to create and see the features of that. What are the feature changes that we see then? So suppose this is a sales DEPT, sales department, but this is a Microsoft 365 group now. So here, I'll also put, it's an email group. So obviously you get a domain name. Suppose there are 10,000 members of this Microsoft 365 group. So whoever sends an email to this address, sales department at blah, blah, blah. So it goes to all 20,000 members of this group, right? So just like any other email group. So you want to give higher privileges to the whole group. So I'll keep no, but if you keep yes, you know what to do here. Then you just select the roles here. That's pretty easy and straightforward, right? So, and Microsoft 365 goes for assigned and dynamic user. You cannot add devices there. I'm going to show you how to add devices to a group as well. We're going to create a device group as well, but then we should have devices. That's why we need two Windows 11s. In fact, one to cell phones as well, or tablets. Okay. So here, assigned membership assigned here, and so we're gonna go in detail with dynamic. Obviously, it's a bit more longer theory. So use group sensitivity labels in Azure Active to classify and protect Microsoft 365 groups. So you can also put sensitivity labels separately here. That this is a classified group, maybe only higher management are added here, and they are making some very critical decisions, and they are sharing some very sensitive documentation with each other for the company. So you can put this group as higher management if suppose it's just it is that sensitive. So you have to select an owner here as well. I'll select myself, the locally logged in user, currently logged in user, and then some members you need to add. So I'll go for Diego, Grady, and Rita. Okay. And then we can create this group, not much here. So Fauja says in the chat, can admin see the activities of higher management group? Like admin can go inside and check in a group. Yes, if admin is added there as an owner, a member. Otherwise, no. So, but can admin take over? Yes, admin can take over whenever he or she wants to be added as an owner. Admin doesn't have to request anyone. She can add him or herself anytime, but if he or she is not added, no, he cannot see, he or she cannot see that activity. So here, sales department is ready. If I go to sales department here, you can see that it's connected to Outlook now. It did not detect. This means that the Teams is really available for the end users that are added here, and the license, it did not detect that. There are 3 members here, but I think all 3 don't have a license, or maybe they have a license, but it did not detect yet that this. Otherwise, Teams also shows here, and other applications also show here. Those users should have logged in once to that. If they have the license, I think they have the license with the users I added. Other than that, properties shows you, and you can change the name of the group as well. Members, owners, roles. We've seen that already. Administrative units is an upcoming. We're going to talk about it. This group can be a member of another group as well. This group could be attached to applications as well. This group can be given more licenses as well. Same as security group, but it's connected to Outlook, a security group, you cannot send emails. This you can send emails as well. And privileged identity access reviews are pretty much the same. So what we will be remaining with here is a dynamic user and dynamic device, or at least how to add devices as well. So I'll just put it in the slide here that let's keep it for all Azure features. So what we're gonna do is we need to know. I'll just put it in the next class actually. In the next episode class, next class, I think that should be the last one. So I'll just put that slide at the last one. Next class, we need to explore dynamic user groups, also how to add devices to our group, and continue exploring more features. All right, so nice weather. Have a nice weekend, and see you next time. Oh, if there's any question, let me know. Otherwise, bye bye. See you next time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend.
you too. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.